Okay, we should be live. Welcome to a surprise live stream here on Small YouTubers Boost. Just bear with me as per usual, just getting every last little thing set up. I try to do as much prep as possible before going live, but there's some things that you can't do until you have the URL. And so I can't get into chat until I'm live. For example, there's probably, other better ways of doing this. Ian Dominic TV, good morning from the Philippines. So how do I sound? Can I get a sound check? Can you give me a score out of 5 on my volume and a score out of 5 on my clarity? So if everything is loud and clear, could I get a 5 by 5, please? Just while I go and share the heck out of this stream so we can get a party going. How's that sound? 5 and 5. Sweet. Thank you, Ian Dominic. Just bear with me quickly here while I do some sharing. Let's see. I'm going to tweet about this live stream here on the Small YouTubers Boost Twitter account, which you can find at YouTubers_Boost on Twitter. Now, I'm just going to share it on the Facebook page for Small YouTubers Boost, which is facebook.com/Small YouTubers Boost. Sharing it there now. Should I pin it? I don't know if I need to pin it. It's cool. The page recently passed 700 likes, so thank you everybody for that. I don't think I'll bother pinning that. Let's share it to some groups. The Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Small YouTubers Boost. Not a big surprise there, I hope. I'm going to make this an announcement. And I'm going to make this the pinned post for the duration of the broadcast, just so that everybody's aware in case they didn't subscribe with notifications on yet. I also run a local YouTube group here in Vancouver, which is Vancouver YouTubers, so I'm just going to share it in there as well. I don't think I'll bother making that an announcement, though. And then there's some other groups I'm in that I don't run, but that do have YouTubers, and I'm happy to help people wherever you're hailing from, wherever you're coming to us from. And I'm just not looking at chat right now while I'm doing this, so if you do have a question or request, I say get it in early in chat. Not sure how long I'll be able to go for. I'll go for as long as I can possibly make this last. It's not entirely up to me, unfortunately. So I go chronologically in chat. First to speak is the first to get a question, a channel review, tutorial, whatever it is you're looking for. So one thing I'm going to do a little differently this time, I'm also going to post about this on Reddit. Maybe I'll make it a text post? I don't know. Oh, wait. Post that on the Small YouTubers Boost subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/Small YouTubers Boost. Now you know almost all the places we are. We're also on Instagram, but I won't worry about that now because you didn't tune into this show just to watch me share things. You're not even really watching me because I'm doing it in other windows. Okay, so there we go. Let's see. Short and quick. Been a minute since I've been here. You can go ahead and check mine if you want. Ian Dominic TV was the first person to speak up in chat, so we do go chronologically. So I'd like to give Ian an opportunity. What would you like? Do you have a question about YouTube, about running a large Facebook group? Is there something you'd like to see as a tutorial? Do you want me to take a look at your channel or your video? A couple caveats before we dive right in. I won't be subscribing to any channels today just because I don't want the chat to become people trying to convince me to do so. And I don't want to give you one more subscriber. I want to give you the tools, the tactics, the strategies, the ideas, the technical skills to go and get tons of subscribers in perpetuity, right? So I hope and I think that that's going to be way more valuable than just one more subscriber who may or may not watch your content. If I see something I like on my own time, I might go back later. I'm also not going to play any videos because I don't want to get into copyright issues, and we just don't have that kind of time. A single live stream or long play could take up everything. What are the advantages of variety channels that are related to vlogging? That's a good question. I just got to get my Vacation Impossible mug in there. Let me just pop a Tums. It's not your question. I just had some pizza and I have some acid reflux. I have a hiatus hernia, which isn't as bad as it sounds. It means your stomach's not where it's supposed to be. So I get acid all the time. So Tums are like my best friend. Video's not sponsored. All right. let's dive right in. What are the advantages of variety channels that are related to vlogging? That is an interesting question. I have to say, I don't think there are a lot of advantages, honestly. I think that what you're likely to encounter is struggle with the algorithm. Because a variety channel can be about anything, and a vlog can be about anything. And that's part of the challenge that we face in the Small YouTubers Boost group is that the screen was refreshing there. I just wanted to actually show you something funny here on Social Blade quickly before we dive in. That's why I have Social Blade up. This channel has over 15,000 views, but it's projecting we'll hit 15,000 views in 4 days. So don't always rely on Social Blade is the message there. Anyways, getting to this question about it, one of the challenges we have in the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group is we do require, if you're sharing a link as your own post, you need to have a description and preferably of at least 2 words that actually describe what your link is about. So if you have a variety channel, or if you have a vlog, if you just type the word vlog and say, check out my vlog, we're not going to approve it. And the reason is this. 1/3 of all of YouTube is vlogs. So the word vlog is frankly no longer really descriptive. You know, if it's a video on YouTube, you got a 1 in 3 chance of it being a vlog, a 1 in 3 chance of it being a gaming video, and then there's everything else. So to be a variety vlog, that's particularly challenging because there are vlogs dedicated to travel, dedicated to makeup, dedicated to all sorts of different things, individual personalities in their lives. There's college vlogs and all sorts of things you can imagine it's probably out there. If what you can imagine isn't out there, go create it. You can be the first. So the problem with the algorithm is that it is a program that is based on confidence. Confidence that it knows what you are about. And so if you are about a multitude of things, it has very low confidence that you're about any one of those things. So if you put out a video about StarCraft, and all of your videos are about StarCraft, and so somebody searches StarCraft, they're going to put your video in your channel relatively high in the search results because it's confident, because you're consistently saying the word StarCraft. Maybe your captions include the word StarCraft. StarCraft will be in your title, in your description, and your tags, and in the comments, and in your reply to the comments, and your channel description, and and your channel tags, and maybe even your channel name. It could be in your URL. Like if you have all those things, that's something that I call keyword alignment. And so a variety channel doesn't get that advantage. So you have to work, I think, harder as a result, if that's what you want to be. I think that one of the advantages of a variety channel is that it's more to the advantage of the creator, because you can create whatever you want at any given time. You haven't niched yourself into a box. The box can be empowering, the box can be limiting as an artist. So you could do a video about whatever you want. You could chase trends, which may or may not work for you. I don't generally suggest it, but others do. You could potentially have a lot of different sources of new subscribers because you're in a lot of different areas. It's harder to get traction through search results and recommended because of that algorithmic problem I mentioned. But you could potentially, maybe you're like, okay, I've got a video idea and that is maybe I can draw some traffic in one way or another. Maybe you could own the search term, harder to do. Maybe you can share it strategically in particular groups. Maybe you've got a built-in audience somewhere else. And so you could go in and, okay, I'll do a gaming video and I'll pull in the gamers. And I'll do a makeup video and pull in the makeup fans. And I'll do a comedy video and bring in the sketch comedy fans. And that may or may not work for you. But an additional challenge with that is for that small percentage of subscribers that do rewatch the content and they come back, if they came for comedy and then they just get 6 gaming videos in a row, they may unsubscribe. Now, YouTube doesn't do a good job of sharing videos with subscribers anymore, so that's less of an issue. But yeah, it's really hard for me to see it as an advantage. In terms of a growth model, in terms of the algorithm, in terms of YouTube, in terms of revenue, if that's something that you care about, if you want to make money off YouTube, it's that's going to be a harder thing to do. So anyways, hopefully that kind of answers the question. I see chat's kind of moving along. I see Ian did ask another question. I'll get to that a little bit later. I want to give somebody else a shot at this here. And so we've got Short and Quick says, been a minute since I've been here. You can go ahead and check mine if you want. Which I assume this is Short and Quick talking about their channel. I'm trying to carefully not use gendered terms because I'm bad at that. Gaminator, welcome to the party. Question would be, since I don't prioritize YouTube as anything primary, mostly a hobby, but I do have confidence in my growing graphics and editing skills. So what do you think of my banner? Firstly, since you're not doing videos today, I've never done video reviews, but what I can do with regards to videos is I can look at your title, your description, your thumbnails, and your tags, and some of your sharing, and give feedback on that. So that is the thing I do with videos currently, but I don't actually watch them. So okay, let's Short and Quick. Let's take a look. Now, I wonder if you are living your name, because if your videos are short and quick, that on its own does present the occasional challenge, because YouTube is absolutely in love with watch time. They love nothing more than watch time. So, let's just see what's going on here with Short and Quick. So, this is a problematic name for your channel. I'm not sure how far along you are, so I'm not necessarily saying that you need to change it. I'm just giving you sort of an evaluation here. And so TubeBuddy, if you're not familiar with TubeBuddy, it's the most amazing tool that any YouTuber can have. I recently wrote about it in the group. I'm not working on a book. I wish I was. I wrote about it in the group. I wrote about it on LinkedIn and a little bit on Twitter and stuff. But basically, I was talking about my personal experience of my YouTube journey. And so part of it was that I used to be really embarrassed by my channel. Not because of the content, but because the numbers were so low. I remember the first time I went to Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's a little side story here, but I'll get back to the channel review, I promise. I was going to Portland Retro Gaming Expo and I wanted to meet Pat Contry. Because I really enjoy his content and it was going to be great. I was terrified that he might ask me if I had a YouTube channel because I had 34 subscribers. And so that was my biggest fear, other than just becoming a blubbering idiot, which, I mean, I've met a lot of celebrities, Will Wheaton, Patrick Stewart, a bunch of people, Michael J. Fox, I met the Dalai Lama twice. So, like, I don't generally become a blubbering idiot in front of people. So that was, like, actually a really low fear. What the real fear was is that he might ask if I have a channel. And I remember I went into a Lego store with my son around that same time, and I talked to him about possibly taking the channel more seriously. This might have been around November 2016. So I remember that was when I said, I'm going to take YouTube seriously now. And we went into a Lego store and he mentioned the channel to the clerk and I was just so embarrassed. And so anyways, I joined some groups, most notably Small YouTubers Boost, the Facebook group. And with their help and the things I learned from the community we have there, I got my channel above 100 subscribers. So I got the custom URL. Growth started to pick up. I started getting lots of views and watch time. That was great. But my subscriber growth was still lagging behind. And so then I think it was August of 2018, I discovered TubeBuddy. And so I would say that, like, if there were evolutionary leaps in my YouTube experience, the first one was finding Small YouTubers Boost, the group. The second one was getting TubeBuddy. Once I had TubeBuddy, I tried it for free for 2 weeks, and then I went whole hog and got Legend, which I have installed now, and that's what you'll see on the right-hand side of my screen, is the browser plugin for TubeBuddy. It's one of 3 things that you get with it in terms of like categories. You get the mobile app, the browser plugin, and they've got their website. And then there's tons of tools within each of them. And some of them are in both. So anyways, using TubeBuddy, I doubled my results, my traffic from search, and my subscriber growth really took off. So that was August. The following October, I met the monetization threshold, and by December, I was approved for monetization, which that's a whole other story, but those were 2 big evolutionary jumps. And so that's part of why I talk about it. There's a link in the description. It's an affiliate link. Even the free version will make your YouTube life so much easier. It'll save you so much time. And like I said, it's an evolutionary jump in my experience. So the Search Explorer is part of the browser plugin, which you'll see here on the right-hand side of the screen. And so it's giving this channel name, Short and Quick, a poor score. It's 15 out of 100. What this score is a combination of the search volume for that term and the competition. It combines those into a single score so that you can compare very easily different terms against each other with just one number. So the search volume for this is actually excellent. There's a high search volume, short and quick. However, there's a lot of competition. So on the competition scale, it's poor, and so that's what drags it down. And you can see here in the search results, that's exactly what's happening because there is no channel There's no, sorry, this is only videos. Well, videos in a playlist, but none of them are from a channel called Short and Quick. And so that's interesting because Short and Quick, if that's your channel name, you should have some advantage with that being part of your name. So is it also part of a custom URL? Do you use it as a tag in your channel? Is it in the channel description? Is it in your video titles? Things like that. So you could possibly align yourself a little bit more with the name. Again, I don't know what you're doing yet. I haven't dived in. Or it just could be a reality of the situation that it might just be super competitive. My primary channel is Vacation Impossible. That's fairly competitive, I think, as well. Small YouTubers Boost, those are pretty generic words, I think. So it's not a key thing, but it is a thing that I just want to talk about and acknowledge, especially if there are YouTubers out there who are watching this and they haven't created their name yet, or they haven't hit 100 subscribers and locked in their URL. So if you're that early in the game, thinking strategically about your name and how that impacts search is something to consider. So how am I going to find this channel? I'm going to do that by filtering my search results here to just channels. And there we go. I think that's the right one. That matches the graphic I'm seeing here in chat. Looks like we got some other people. Devin Tries Life, Frankie London, who's been here before. So welcome to the party. I'm just doing a quick channel review. I say quick, but I know I take my time. The thing is, I could be doing like 5-minute channel reviews that'll give you virtually no benefit. I prefer to do a deep dive, almost like a consultation. And so I think that has more value to you, but also the other people watching, because a lot of YouTubers are struggling with similar problems. So something that'll help you is going to help a bunch of other people too, I'm sure. So, okay, 3 videos, 34 subscribers. It's funny that it's that same number that I had when I was when I first joined Small YouTubers Boost. So that's interesting. You've come to the right place. We are the people to help you at this stage. At least, because it helped me a whole lot those years ago. So, quick and energetic ventures throughout famous and populated areas located in New York. Follow me and some of my friends, ... So this is your channel description that's being truncated in search. So something to consider for this is, those early words in the description you're going to be seen in more places. So making those words high impact is important. So quick and energetic ventures. Venture makes me think of entrepreneurship and starting like businesses. So the rest of it doesn't seem in line with that word. It almost makes you wonder if that's supposed to be adventures. But then it's throughout. Again, throughout, that's an interesting word as well, because I would have thought that to be like throughout time. If I had to guess what the next word was, if I was autocomplete, that's what I would have thought, was like throughout time. So throughout famous and populated areas, that's an unexpected phrase. It doesn't flow to me. I was born in the United States. I've lived in Canada almost my entire life. Native English speaker. Those may or may not be relevant factors. There could be some regionalism things in there. I don't know. Because also located in New York. So, and I mean, you saw when I was reading it, I had a reaction to New York because I was not expecting that. One of my lights is bothering me. I'm just going to adjust the angle here. Hopefully it won't make me yellow. Ooh, that's kind of cool. There we go. I was yellow when I first turned on my camera, so I activated my ring light, and then that made me not yellow anymore. Okay, so getting back to it here. So honestly, I'm not entirely certain what this channel is about. I think that it could be about entrepreneurship in New York City. I think it could be a travel thing for New York City. It could be an urban exploration channel in New York City. I'm not sure. And the thing that I don't grasp yet, and these are first impressions, but this is important because this is the first impression of a total stranger. And the total stranger is who we want. That is our target audience to a degree. I mean, obviously we want even more narrow than that to understand who our target audience is, but when we're writing a description of our channel, when we have a profile picture, it really is the stranger. How do you appeal to the stranger so that you can grow your audience? And so it could be about a lot of different things. I'm not yet sure. And so I'm thinking that there is potential here for improvement, but I don't know what direction to point you in yet because I don't know what your channel's about yet. So that might come a little bit later. My one thought is that the phrase short and quick should probably appear in your channel description somewhere. It may appear later after the 3 dots, and if so, that's fine. It doesn't need to be early because people already see the channel name. But for keyword alignment, you'll probably want it in there somewhere. The profile picture, it's good in some respects. I like the color scheme. It's sort of like a Miami Vice 90s kind of vibe, which I dig. The font is nice, but not easily read at smaller resolutions. So like looking at chat, your icon there, your profile in chat, I can't read it at all. I am of the assumption that yes, there is some writing there, but I couldn't possibly read it. And it looks like a gradient, but here I can see that it's sort of like there's a line going through it. This might just be an OCD thing. I don't have OCD. I actually took a test and I don't have it. I do like, and I think a lot of people generally like symmetry in images. And so one thing I noticed about the sort of blue outline that you've got going on there is that it's thicker at the top than the bottom. It feels like the pink fuchsia peach color thing in the middle feels like it's a little lower than it should be. So it's a minor thing, relatively easy to fix, but that text is hard to read. You've got a drop shadow on it, which is great, but it's kind of a brushstroke, and brushstroke doesn't scale great. So I would recommend using a blockier font, and the one that I always recommend is called Bebas. Bebas. There's also Bebas New, where new is spelled Neue, I think, something like that. It's completely free. You can Google it and install it for free. It doesn't cost you a penny. But what's great about it is it's blocked, so it's easy to read, and it scales really well. I've been using it for a couple of years now on my channels, and things look way better since I've made the switch. I'm not saying that's the only font, but a blockier font is easier to read. It might not be the style or aesthetic you're going for, but when it comes to YouTube, with things like thumbnails and profile pictures, it needs to work at multiple resolutions and sometimes very, very, very small. And so that's just something to think about. I discovered Bebas New by reading a Scientific American magazine on a flight back from Hawaii. And it was talking about how it scales well, and that's what a lot of the big, vloggers and YouTubers and stuff use. And so because I read it in the magazine, then I tried it out, and I haven't looked back. It's great. So it's like the official channel font for my two channels. So I'm just going to dive into the channel here and start to learn about it. So I did know that there were only 3 videos, and of course all 3 videos are showing here. So there's not a lot that I can expand upon for channel layout right now because it's very, very early. You're going to want to see about cranking out some videos. Now, I'm not saying rush them, but if there's anything that you are able to invest your time into, if making more videos is an option, that's always number one. Regardless of whether you're a channel with only 3 videos or you're a channel with over 500, like my Vacation Impossible channel, if you have the ability to make another video and you're wondering, and there could be other things you could do, and you're like, what should I spend my time on today? If you haven't yet put out a video today, put a video out today. That's always the thing that'll have the most positive impact on your channel. Even if that video is a dud, I have found through my personal experience over the last several years, I can put out a dud, which for me is like, 30 views or something. But I watch, and when I post that video, my other videos get more views. And I think that's the algorithm at work. It's saying this guy's active, he's still, putting out content. I got really loud there for some reason, I don't know why. Anyways, this guy's active, he's putting out content, and so I think it gives a few plus marks temporarily to my other videos in search, recommended, things of that nature. So I do recommend, now don't put out more than 1 video a day. Maybe you've got a lot of stuff ready to go and you're enthusiastic and you just want to launch and just go. More than 1 a day, you begin to trip over yourself in the algorithm. The first 24 hours of a video's life is incredibly important in the algorithm. So you don't want 2 of your videos competing for eyeballs in the first 24 hours with each other at the same time. It's not helpful. So if people always ask me, how much should I post? And it's like, well, ideally daily, but daily could kill you. So, you don't. I really am against having a set upload schedule. For the mental health and burnout component, for the artistic component of rushing and it not being to the standard that you might want. But when people ask that, I say, okay, if there is a range, which is ideal for the algorithm, if you can safely pull it off, it's anywhere from once a week to once a day. No more than once a day ever is my advice. I don't care what's going on. And I'm violating that a little bit because I put out a video today and now I'm doing a live stream, but this was a rare opportunity, so I had to jump on it. And I'm not super concerned about growing this channel. It's my Vacation Impossible channel that is, my love. This is about me paying it forward and sharing what I've learned in my journey. And so, less than once a week, I think that's where I start to notice a drop off. Watching like real-time views in the YouTube app on my phone, for example, or on Creator Studio, when it's been more than a week since I've uploaded something, I start to see a fairly consistent drop off. So that's just answering the question nobody asked. But I do get asked often in the group and in other places. I really like your banner. Like the short and quick thing that you've got going on here actually looks really sharp. The queue looks a little funny, but the rest of it is super sharp. It reminds me a little bit of Saved by the Bell, the diner. I forget what it was called. The Max, I think, in Saved by the Bell. And so it's got that kind of a vibe, which I find aesthetically pleasing. It's framed up very well. All of the words are complete and readable. I would probably move the Energetic New York Adventures up just slightly because the drop shadow on the A of Adventures is being cut off. That is a nitpick. It's probably not worth your time. And so, again, short and quick, Energetic New York Adventures. Okay, so I'm thinking ventures that was in your channel description should have been adventures. That would make more sense to me. Venture sounds like venture capital, starting a new business, small YouTubers maybe, small business, things like that, entrepreneurs and startups. Adventures is something very different. That's going out and seeing the world and maybe getting in trouble or whatever. But I expect two very different things with those two words. And so two letters can make a huge difference in the meaning of that. I noticed that you have two Instagram accounts linked here. They're linked properly, and it's good that you've linked them. They're clickable. But again, as a new visitor to your channel, they do appear to be different Instagrams. Sparkle Babe and Greggy Boy. It's weird that there are two Instagrams. I would expect an Instagram and like a Twitter or something. Two Instagrams is a little unclear, and it doesn't, because of the way that it displays, it really doesn't differentiate one from the other. So that's an unusual choice. Maybe it's the right one. Because I'm like, if this is a couples channel and those are just the like each individual's Instagram, maybe that would make sense. That would be my guess based on what I've seen so far, which admittedly isn't very much. So that's just something to think about. One thing I talk about a lot, lock down your username, especially with something as relatively common as short and quick. Like that's not like a unique name or something. So when I search channels, under channels, yours came up first. So that's good. You got an advantage there. You're going to want to lock that down on other platforms, because what if you became a success overnight? I mean, literally overnight. You go to sleep at like 11 or midnight or something. Something happens. Jimmy Kimmel tweets about you, or for some reason you blow up in Japan or something. And then you wake up and you've got like 1 million subscribers, 1 billion views, and you're like, wow. And it doesn't have to be while you're sleeping. You could be on a plane somewhere. You could be at work. You could just just be disconnected. You could be on a cruise. I like to cruise. You could be on a cruise, out of communication with the world for several days, come back and like, wow. So are you prepared for that kind of success? And one of the ways that I think people can and should prepare for that is to lock down their brand. Go, and if you haven't already, I don't know, go and sign up for Twitter. Go and sign up for LinkedIn. Go and sign up for, make a Facebook page. All these different things using your brand. And even if you don't use them right away, at least you'll be the first to have it. So you'll have that created date. Most of these platforms have a created date. If you're hoping to one day get verified on some of those platforms, one of the things that I believe also Instagram looks at is, are you on other social media platforms and do you have consistent image and content? So that can increase the likelihood of you getting verified. And also, if, let's say that happens, you wake up and have 1 million subscribers, what else you're probably going to have, I've learned this one the hard way, you're probably going to have imposters. You're going to have people pretending to be you, trying to cash in on your hard work and your success. So make it harder for them. go lock down those usernames, those Twitter handles, whatever, the URL, so that the imposters will have to do something different. And you'll have an earlier created date on the profile, which more lends more authenticity to the fact that it's yours, and it's the authentic, real, official thing. Anybody can type the word official into anything. It doesn't mean squat. So, but those other signs are clearer indicators. Well, this one came first, so it's probably the real one. And then if you decide to bulk up and use those more and develop them, you can, but you've got them in your back pocket ready to go, and you've protected your brand from imposters. That's the thing that's happened with Small YouTubers Boost. Our group grew very fast, and other copycat groups have been created, and it's creating problems for us. Some of them are misbehaving, and so they're damaging our name and our brand, and some of them are having conflicts, and so I will get messages with people complaining about something that happened in the group. I will go look in the group, and I can't find any evidence of what they're talking about, and eventually, after wasting, frankly, a bunch of my time going back and forth with them, it'll come out that this was some other group that I'm not even in. I can't help them. I can't resolve the problem. They've been wasting their time talking to me, and I feel bad about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. These things are very frustrating for me, and there's little I can do. I am in contact with Facebook, and they are apparently developing some tools to help deal with imposters, so I look forward to seeing what that will be. I'm trying to be patient about that, but I'm also enthusiastic. So I'm like, yes, it would be nice to solve this problem. So anyways, that's just some thoughts there. So you got 3 videos. The thumbnail design that you have has some consistent elements and some inconsistent elements. Like 2 of them have a white background. One has a light yellow, kind of like a manila envelope almost or something. Maybe a custard color. I don't know what to call it. The point, canary? No, it's not canary. Anyways, the point is, so there's a little inconsistency there. The font in 2 of them is largely black. The next one is kind of white, and there's pink and there's blue. The font being used seems to change from thumbnail to thumbnail. So the one consistent thing is the girl with the curly hair, I think. That's in all of them. So, and that's interesting. So one of them apparently features Gordon Ramsay, and another one says featuring Chef Ramsay, which is cooking with Ramsay. So, like, if Gordon Ramsay actually appears, then okay. You probably want to hype it bigger than you are, because that's kind of hard to read. If he doesn't actually appear in your video, if you just go to his restaurant, or you use a picture of him, or you use something, whatever, and he's not actually in your video, then I would probably drop that, because you can get in trouble with YouTube for misrepresenting. So you need to deliver the things that you say are there. If you make a video and call it StarCraft Long Play, and the whole thing is just you walking down New York, that can get your channel taken down. You can get a community violation for that, because it's misleading, and it could be seen as sort of like tricking people into getting clicks and things like that. And there's no platform in the world that's cool with that, that's sort of reputable. So that's just some things to be aware of. So having a consistent font and color scheme could help. It would look a little bit more professional. I am bad at that. So, but that's just some, were I a better graphic artist, I would do that. I don't consider myself a graphic artist. So it looks like you've been producing content, one video 2 months ago, one video a month ago, another 2 weeks ago. Let's take a look at the channelytics here. So this is interesting. So the tags that you're using on your channel actually tell me a lot more than what I saw in the preview of your description, in your banner, and things like that. I mean, you just say like Central Park here, gooning. I'm not sure what gooning is. At Sojo's Bizarre Adventures, Sojo's Spa Club. Like, these videos don't seem necessarily connected under any kind of umbrella. But I don't know about New York. I've never been to New York. I plan on going for the first time. I've been to the state, not the city. I plan on going to New York City for the first time this coming October. So I don't know. So perhaps like gooning is a New York activity. Obviously Central Park is New York. I don't know about Sojo Spa Club. Maybe that's a famous thing in New York. I don't know. But it's lacking that consistent theme. But I do want to be clear that the design's pretty good. Like, your banner design is sharp. Like I said, I love it. And the thumbnails themselves look good. It's just that they look a little inconsistent. And, there's a couple of things that I would tweak. I already talked about the Gordon Ramsay thing. Also, gooning, the first 2 letters has, it seems like, and it could be, it could just be because of where it's placed and stuff, but it looks like it has a white outline on 2 letters and not the others. And so that looks a little odd. But like the rest of it, they have a really nice aesthetic. They're nicely designed. I don't think I could do as well, honestly, if that was what I was going for. Anyways, your channel tags tell me more about your channel than a lot of the other stuff I've seen, because it has travel, vlogs, Manhattan, comedy, memes. I wasn't expecting memes. That's a surprise. Goons don't know what that means. Lifestyle. So, I mean, I would recommend, I'm not sure what the intention of the channel is or how broad its mission is, but I would recommend niching down as much as possible. Travel, comedy, memes, and lifestyle. Well, maybe not lifestyle. Let's forget lifestyle, because I don't know what lifestyle frickin' means. That's one of those words that have virtually no meaning. If somebody tells me they have a lifestyle channel, like, okay, it's probably not gaming. What else could I rule out? It's probably not the news. It absolutely could be travel, could be makeup, could be a lot of different things. Lifestyle could be almost anything. So that's just a personal thing with me. I don't find it very descriptive. So anyways, like I would expect New York travel and Manhattan, like those are in line with each other. Comedy and memes are in line with each other, but not the other things. So if you can narrow down your focus as much as possible and then go whole hog towards that, you'll have an easier time of it because the algorithm will know what you're about. So, not going to be a lot to see. You have no playlists. I know, and it's super early because you only have 3 videos, but creating a playlists are important. More so than people think. And also that is a building block of your final channel layout. So I do encourage you to create playlists. And even right now, if it's just a playlist with 1 or 2 videos in it, at least that's like, if that's a theme or a series you plan on continuing, it's a good way to organize your channel and it'll pay off in the future. I'm going to take a look at your About page just to see how this lines up with what I was seeing earlier. Quick and energetic ventures throughout famous and populated areas located in New York. I don't mean to sound contentious here, but are there unpopulated areas in New York? Especially if we're talking New York City. I'm not sure. Do you mean popular, perhaps? Because you talk about like Central Park, that's popular. Gordon Ramsay's restaurants are popular. So curious about ventures and populated. Those are interesting word choices. Follow me and some of my friends throughout our daily shenanigans and see how we turn a day into a meme disaster. So I'm not entirely certain what that means, but I would take the word daily out of there because you're not posting daily content. I mean, if you're just talking about like day in the life, then I can kind of understand maybe that's the point, but it's not coming across clearly to me. So I would work on distilling down your purpose and what your channel is about. And one thing, I've spoken about Simon Sinek before. I have his book. I haven't read it yet, but his TED Talk is amazing. And so I think for all YouTubers, I can't recommend something like this enough. He's better a lecturer than he is a writer. I've read a couple of his other books, but still, go buy this, get it from the library, whatever, or go watch his TED Talk about trying to discover and articulate. Oops. Okay, that is well gone. It wasn't the book. Trying to articulate your why, because then when you can articulate it and you put it in your about screen, and then you just remind yourself that everything you do should be in service of a very particular why. And then when you do, you'll notice that the things all start to align. And like one of the questions I often get asked is, where can I get ideas for videos? If you know your why and you're in service to your why, that'll all come very naturally for the most part. And also you can ask a more specific question because people say, what kind of video should I make? And I'm like, I don't know what kind of channel you are. I can't answer that. There's no answer for that applies to all how many billion people on the planet. And so I need to know what you're about. And so if they said, hey, I don't know what kind of travel video to make. Okay, now I might be able to answer the bloody question with something that's in some way useful. And I'm tempted to be snarky when people say that. I would be like, I don't know, something good. But try not to. So hopefully you found that kind of useful. Looks like chat has kind of ticked right along here. Canada iconic. Achilles, welcome to the party, man. And Gratha de Ortiz. I think you added me as a friend on Facebook. I think. I'm not sure. The name seems familiar. There's Achilles dropping the moderator actions. Wow. Achilles, you can message me later about whatever that was about. I'm very curious what True Enamel was up to. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram or something. Okay, things going on in chat. I'm super glad I made Achilles a moderator right about now. Okay, Denius the Genius. I hope I'm saying that right. Hello from Australia. Awesome. I'm a young YouTuber that has just started and learning by doing Minecraft videos. Any advice welcome. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I'm getting a message. Just the one word? Okay. Well, whatever. People have thought that about me since a very young age. Inaccurate. Ask my son. Anyways, let's not focus on the trolls. Okay. All right. Genius, the genius. That's kind of. I like saying that. I hope I'm saying it right because that's kind of fun. Yeah, just the one word. Okay. Thanks, Achilles. I appreciate you jumping on, taking care of that in chat. That's awesome of you, man. Especially since I never asked you to, but you did the right thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So a young tuber that just started and learning by doing Minecraft videos. Any advice welcome. Wow. I mean, I kind of want to get back to what I was just talking about because especially when you're beginning, I can teach you the technical things. I can show you how to upload a custom thumbnail. I've got a video here on the channel that shows you how to do it. I can help you write titles. I got a video here on the channel that does it. I recorded earlier today, haven't released it yet, a video about how to write your descriptions for SEO. I can teach you all sorts of technical things. But it has to be in service of a why. You need a foundation. Why is this so shiny? Let's get that. It's almost a good thumbnail shot right there, huh? So, honestly, if you know why you want to do YouTube, then it's much easier to help you. So I think, believe it or not, sitting and thinking and writing to try and determine what your YouTube why is actually a very useful thing. It's made my journey easier once I started thinking of it that way, which I've been doing for about 2, maybe 3 years now. About 3 years now I've been thinking about it that way. It was around the time that I started getting serious about my channel generally. So, for example, my Vacation Impossible channel, it's basically, I believe that travel broadens the mind. More travel is better. So if you can do it cheaper, you can do it more often. And I try to help you make that happen. So... yeah, that's a yes, Achilles. But not right now. But that's totally why I grabbed the book. I'm not going to lie. Anyways, sorry, side conversation. So, but that's the thing. If you know your why, then everything else, it does get easier in the sense that you ask better questions and that you're more focused. So, you know, just like, oh, how do I succeed at YouTube? Well, YouTube is a medium. It's not a goal. So how do you succeed? How do you measure success? Not everyone is in it for the money. Not everyone is in it for that dopamine hit of, yeah, you know, set me up. I want that subscriber count to go up. Oh, that feels good. Like, I mean, we all experience it. That's just the human body doing its thing. But, you know, is it, I just want to be famous? If that's what it is, that's harder to help. If you can distill down, I want to be famous for helping other people. Okay, that's something I can work with, you know. But like my personal story with Vacation Impossible is that I grew up in poverty, and through education, me and my friends and my family got out of poverty, and so we started having some money to spend. And I wanted to see the world, and they didn't see that as a reasonable way to spend money because of their life experience. And so my videos were initially all about trying to convince them to go with me and see the world, so I wouldn't have to do it on my own. And because I thought they'd really get a lot out of it. You know, they say travel's the one thing that you buy that makes you richer. And it's kind of hokey, but I totally believe it. And so, like, I'm out to show people how they can travel, like, how it's valuable and how they can do it cheaper and do it smarter. Maybe do it a little different so you're not in a big crowd. Those sorts of things I care a lot about. When I get a message or, like, a comment on one of my videos that says, hey, you just saved me $80. This video, thank you so much. Or, I never thought about trying that place. I took my family, we loved it. That is an amazing feeling that all the dopamine from getting more subscribers can't compete with at all. Not for me. And so if you've got something like that, my Small YouTubers Boost channel here in the group, when, like Achilles Melee is a pretty good success story, but I can't take much credit for that. He did that largely on his own. Ace of Vegas, and I'm not trying to take credit for him either, but he came to one of my early live streams. I did a channel review for him. He put a lot of the advice into action better than I could have hoped, and through his natural talent and hard work, combined with some technical and creative advice from me, his channel took off. He's got like nearly double my subscriber count at this point. I know he's got well over 3,000. I'm creeping up on 2,000. You know, he gets tons of views, and he's a giant success within his narrow niche, and I like that. That is a reason to get up every morning, you know, to help people achieve things like that. It's amazing. And so if I can take some small sliver of credit or have some small sliver of pride that I contribute to that, even in a small way, that's an amazing feeling. I'm an addict for that. That's what I'm in for, you know? And so knowing your why. So, you know, are you trying to pull your family out of poverty by making money on YouTube? If you are, that's tough. And I've recently learned that gaming's a really hard way to do that through AdSense. The CPMs on that are not great. I recently wrote about that on my Patreon, actually. And so that's, but what is it maybe that you find that Minecraft is relaxing and helps you deal with the stress of your day, and you want other people to know that there is this relatively low-cost way of doing that. That would be amazing. You know, maybe you met people through Minecraft, or, you know, it brought your friends closer together, or something you shared with your dad or something. Who knows what your why is? Only you could possibly know. And here is sort of, again, getting back to this whole thing. The hallmark of finding your why, as Simon Sinek writes about, at its highest level, it should be totally divorced from what you do, right? So like Apple says they want to challenge the status quo, right? Microsoft used to say that they wanted the individual to be able to compete with the company, with a large corporation. They wanted to, so that's empowering individuals. You know, they've got a lot of different, there's a lot of different ones out there. Like if you look at, and this is great, I love this. In fact, I'll show you here, just because I really like this. On Twitter, this is actually kind of ironic. This is like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. If you look at Facebook, on Twitter, they've got this amazing description. Okay, it's actually a little different. It used to say something like to help people connect or something. But even still, it's to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. Now, they're really focused on groups right now. They were promoting it, I think, during the Super Bowl and stuff. So they got a big ad campaign about groups, which, thank you, Facebook. But that's the thing, is like the power to build community and bring the world closer together. That could be anything. It really could. It could be a telecommunications company. It could be satellites. It could be a courier, a mail service. It could be tons of different things. And so if you get a why that is sort of at a higher level to the point where it's almost completely divorced from what you do. And so what is Vacation Impossible's thing? It's like, I want to empower people to broaden their minds. That's really, and broaden their experiences. That's what the super high level is. And I think that travel is how I do that. And so the what of it, you get your why, your how, and then your what. The what of it is I make videos and blog posts and Instagram posts, and I share information and try to inspire people. Small YouTubers boost. I believe that everyone deserves a fair shot based on the quality of their ideas. I could be a bank. I could be giving loans. I could be an educator. I could be running a university. That could apply to so many things. So how do I do it? I try to show you guys how you can get your fair shot at YouTube, because there's so many barriers of not knowing the technical things or not thinking about some of the things I talk about. So if I can remove those barriers, and now you're competing in a free marketplace of ideas where it's fair, or at least more fair than it was, then awesome. And so, like, you know, if something's holding you back, you know, if not understanding the dimensions of a thumbnail or something, and I can get that roadblock out of your way, and now we can go see how your idea competes against everybody else's based on the originality and the strength of your idea and the hard work you're willing to put into it. And I can sit back and watch some of those successes. That's awesome. And that's what that's all about. So what's your why? I think is a big thing that everyone should think about and ask yourself repeatedly. It's not a one and done thing. Yeah, I think it's a conversation you have with yourself over time. So I think I exhausted that topic and exhausted myself a little. I get excited talking about that stuff. Riggan Brown, thanks for joining us. I see that you commented on my picture on Facebook the other day. That was nice. What was it? My cheesesteak. I grabbed my lunch on my personal account. DJ Talks. Excellent to see you here. Sword and Dove Gaming Productions. Thanks for joining the party. I'm just shouting out people who talk. I don't like to out the lurkers. Lurkers are always welcome. I lurk on other people's shows all the dang time. All right. So, Gaminator, you're the Binge Tube guy, right? I'm fairly confident. Is there anything I can do for you today? Other than, hey, I could plug Binge Tube, assuming I've correctly identified. My brain is mush. I'm bad for names. Given that I run a group that's so, big, yeah, you'd think I'd be better at it. All right, let me see if I can... This is an interesting thing. Groups, Binge Tube. I think we got the URL. No. Let me do this in a separate window. Just because I don't want to accidentally put anybody's personal information up there if like somebody's messaging me or something. So this is an interesting idea. The idea is it's a group where people go to find interesting YouTube videos to watch. And so there's no discussion about the work of creating the videos. It's just about sharing interesting videos. So creators are certainly welcome, but an audience is welcome as well. So yeah, there you go. There's Binge Tube. Little video explanation, some sharing of videos and different stuff. So little shout out there, assuming I got the right person. I'm not sure if he's still around or if there's anything else I can do. Let's see, we got Blazing Games here, TWD Universe. Denius the Genius said, thank you for the Y Talk. Mostly it seemed like fun for me to get into. And that's cool. Hey, and if you're just about sharing fun, that's great. That's a great goal. And also, you'll notice it's now sharing fun, right? It's not about Minecraft. Your why is sharing fun. So now, if you're making a Minecraft video and you're like, should I do this thing or that thing or do this way or this way? Your question that you can ask yourself is it fun? Am I serving fun? And so if I'm showing people how it's fun, great. If I'm showing them the most tedious way to gain resources or build something, I've played like no Minecraft practically, but if you're showing them a tedious way, that's not fun. And so maybe that's not on brand for you. Maybe that's not part of your core value, right? And so that's how the why helps. That's how the why helps. Because I recently found myself, and I'll try not to talk too many specifics, but I recently found myself earlier this month in a challenge with my Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost. I'll throw that up on the screen as well. Why not? Small YouTubers Boost. So in this group, with now over 133,000 people, which blows my mind and warms my heart, thank you everyone who's a member. If you're not a member, join. Check the announcements. You get a 20% discount on TubeBuddy. It's fantastic. And it's a wonderful community. I'm not the strength of the group. It's the people in it. And they are amazing people. They will help you learn. They will encourage you. They will celebrate your successes. They will commiserate with you when it gets difficult. When you've got numbers going down, when you've got somebody spam disliking you, and you've got somebody giving you rough comments, they are, it's a large group of people, so you're going to have all different sorts, but we're all on a similar journey together, and so I like to think it's a very safe space to learn and to grow together and support each other. That having been said, I ran into some trouble earlier this month where there was some conflict. And I had some difficult decisions to make about how I was going to respond to it and what I was going to do. And I had a multitude of options potentially in front of me. Eventually, the people I was dealing with started closing off options to me, and that was unfortunate, but it was a real dilemma. It was upsetting. And so the way I got through that was asking myself, okay, like, I could help the person I like. I could pick a side. I could say a pox on all your houses. I could do a bunch of different things. What was the right thing to do? And I got back to the why. Why does my group exist? To help small YouTubers. And soon as I remembered that question, I had my answer. Because I knew that I just had to do the things that made people feel safe and supported and then help them get back to growing their channels, get back to growth. And forget the drama and put all that nonsense aside. And then, it was hard, but the choosing became easy. Communicating the messaging and telling people about the decision and wording it appropriately and all that stuff and negotiating with people, that was all still difficult. But choosing became very easy when I remembered my why. So harping on that a lot, but honestly, like if you know your why and the other people don't, you're going to kick their butt all across the schoolyard for a long time. They're going to be playing a short-term game of I just want to beat you and just today. We are in it for the long haul. I've been in this group for over 3 years. I've been making videos before there was YouTube. I've been filming videos since 2001. So if you go back on my channel, Vacation Impossible, and look way back, you can see some footage from like 2001 where I had hair and things were grainy. Because that was life then. But we're in it for the long haul. And so one of the things that, again, Simon Sinek, who I'm obviously a huge fan of, he talks about the infinite game. And so I'm not here to beat my competition. I'm in the game to stay in the game. I want to keep playing. I want to keep making videos. And so that's just some thought. I have some election news. Apparently Tom Steyer has dropped out of the Democratic primaries. That's interesting. I'm not going to comment on political stuff. I just thought I'd share some news since it just came in. John is here. Welcome to the party. Although that's some pretty rough stuff that has nothing to do with YouTube. John, if you want to be a part of this community, this event, this activity, I recommend you stick to the topic. Or else my the flaming sword of my moderator may just come for you. Let's see, is Gaminator still kicking around? Did he have a request at all? I'm not seeing anything there. So moving right along. Frankie London, I know I've looked at your channel twice now. Have you watched the SEO video? I'm guessing you're probably asking other people. And so, yeah, we do have on Small YouTubers Boost, it's funny, she calls it the SEO video, but soon it will not be the only one. Just shut that down there. So this is you'll notice that one of these thumbnails is not like the others. It's the writing titles one. This is SEO for Beginners tutorial, writing search-friendly titles. So this is a new series that I just began apparently 6 days ago. And these are going to be very targeted, specific subject, I want to help you videos. They're not necessarily, the kind of tutorials, but really it's a conversation about how to do SEO. It's part of a new playlist that I'm trying to bulk up. So this one's about writing titles. I just earlier today filmed, I have yet to fully edit or release, but the next video in that series is going to be about writing descriptions. And you can probably guess the next one after that. It's going to be about tags. And so I'm going to go through SEO for those things. And then I'll talk about channel tags. There's going to be video tags and channel tags. I don't know if it'll be in that order. We're going to cover a variety of topics. But those are going to be really focused. And they're going to be a little bit longer than some of the shorter tip videos. But I think those are going to be really high value because people are constantly asking in the group, what is SEO? And how do I do it? And that is not a short answer. You can't answer it in a comment on a Facebook post effectively. I don't think. At least I can't. I don't have the talent for it. My medium is video. Obviously, I like to think. And so I'm going to be creating a series of videos there that are going to be very targeted. So that's the first one, but there's more to come. And I am curious. Yeah, have you guys watched it? Do you have feedback? I've already recorded the second one, but you can provide feedback to me before the third. I did get some feedback that the audio on that was not great. I had some microphone problems, so I had to use the audio from the camera. But today, when I recorded it, my microphone was working fine. So it's actually a fine. It wasn't the microphone's fault. I had the settings off when I didn't set it properly. This time I set it very properly, and I'm actually really, really liking the sound quality that came out of that. But the first one, the audio wasn't great. I apologize. I know. I fixed it. And ironically, I think my lighting wasn't great today because I was rushed. But any other feedback about that video, let me know if you watched it. What did you think? What else do we have here? Frankie London saying hi. It was meant to be adventures. Yeah, and I didn't mean to embarrass anybody with the typo thing. I have made some whoppers. I have been to Ensenada, which is a city in Mexico, probably 7 times. So after like my 6th trip, I put out a video about it, and in the thumbnail, I misspelled Ensenada. And that thumbnail was up for a solid 18 hours before somebody mentioned it to me. So it happens to the best of us. I heard someone has said that it's only a mistake if you can't fix it, which is an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, I think a mistake is a mistake, but it's the way we learn. And so you better believe I'm bloody careful about how I spell Ensenada now. And so I think that mistakes are how we grow. And yeah, the embarrassment's hard to live with. I don't have good advice for that, but yeah. So hopefully this was helpful. It was only meant to be helpful. Same, getting ready to be doing things consistently. Yeah, consistently when possible is great, but don't burn yourself out. When YouTube brought in the new monetization rules, I did a video a day for a month. And oh God, no, don't do it. It burned me out something fierce. I mean, not like I was tired all the time. And so like, I really, for like physical, mental health, burnout reasons, once a day, I think it's too much. But if you can pull off consistency, great. But you know what? My advice, don't be public about your schedule. And there's a couple reasons. One, it lets you off the hook a little bit. We could all do with a little less stress in our lives, right? So don't add stress to your own shoulders yourself. Don't put cinder blocks up here. That will only weigh you down eventually. It's nice to have ambitious goals. And that kind of a goal you can tell your friends and your family, and maybe they can hold you accountable that way. Don't say it or put it say it on your channel or put it in your banner. People do that because then you start apologizing for missing it. And so a new person comes to your video. The first thing they see is an apology about something they don't even know about. They click off. They don't care. At least a lot of them, I think. So, you know, it's great to have goals, but don't totally put pressure on yourself that weighs you down to that point. And so that's the mental health burnout factor. The other reason is sometimes there's some benefit to being a little mysterious. For example, my live streams, they are unfortunately mysterious. Last year, I was able to go live every Friday in April, and I knew beforehand I was able to do it. So like I announced it on Instagram, you know, and I talked about it in the group, and I talked about it in the videos, and that was awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that. But right now, because of certain health issues with my family and stuff, I'm not able to commit to that sort of a thing. And so I just go live when I can. But the benefit of that is well, here's the thing. We go through chat chronologically. So the first to come to the live stream is the first to get their question answered, their channel looked at, whatever they want. So if you have notifications on, you'll be the first to know and the first to join. What I just did there is I gave you a reason to subscribe and click the bell. And the funny thing is, that's not even what I'm trying to do. It's just the reality of my situation. But accidentally, I kind of fall ass backwards into having actually a really good reason for that. Because if they don't know your upload schedule, like when I used to watch Cinemassacre pretty religiously. Now I kind of watch them intermittently, although I was binging them earlier today. But I knew that James and Mike Mondays came out on Monday, right? And so I didn't need to be subscribed with notifications on. I can just remember it's Monday. Hey, I feel like watching it. I can go to their channel. Right? So if you have a very public release schedule, you might, it's kind of weird to think about, but you might be disincentivizing people to have notifications on. Isn't that kind of weird? So maybe being mysterious, not so bad. Let's see here. That makes sense. Once a week. Yeah, once a week seems reasonable, depending on what you're filming. For me, that month of videos, I had a backlog going back like 9 months, so it was really just come home, edit, publish, go to sleep. Like, because I just had to do the editing. I wasn't doing any filming. It was editing. And looking back on those videos, sometimes I'm like, if I'd taken more time, that would have been a better video. It could have performed better, you know? So, yeah. Frankie doesn't have a Twitter account yet. I recommend just sign up with your channel name just to lock it down. Even if you don't do anything with it, just lock it down. Somebody said amen. So cool. You don't want to know. Love travel. Yeah, traveling is life for me. 2016 was an amazing year. I was able to go on a cruise every other month. That's right. 6 cruises in 1 year. It's amazing. The SEO video Frankie found very useful. That's awesome. I hope that the rest will come along. Okay. Who was next? Devin tries life. Hey, what's up? My ceiling. My neighbors who make noise are up. Taking it literally. Not much. Just, you know. Can I blame coronavirus if I just feel like staying home and watching YouTube all day? Although, hey, we need more people to do that, right? It's greater for all of us. So no, I've just been staying home pretty much all day. I took out recycling, and that was my big activity for the day. Otherwise, I've been binging YouTube stuff. I've been watching a lot of College Humor. particularly since the all but like Brennan and Sam got fired and Sam bought the company. I love College Humor. I don't love everything they do. I think Total Forgiveness is horrible, but most of the other stuff I love. Breaking News. I love Game Changers. Awesome. I love Actually. I watch that with my son sometimes. So I really, and a lot of their skits and stuff like that, and some of their older content. And so I wanted to support them. So I signed up for Dropout, and I binge watched their second series of Troopers called Rise of the Budget, which is really professional and awesome. I do recommend it. And I've been binge watching some of their older content. Like I didn't get into Jake and Amir before, but I've been watching a lot of it now just because I really want to support them because they're in this difficult transition. And so I want them to come out of it strong. And I want them to succeed, for me, absolutely for me. I mean, that's the thing. When you want someone to support you, it's not for you. You got to make it about them. And I like their content, so I don't want it to go away. And they were just talking earlier today. They did a story on YouTube where they said that, yeah, they're going to continue my favorite shows. Actually, Game Changer, and the other one that I mentioned earlier. So what I am trying to do is give them more views, give them likes and comments, and sign up for Dropout because I want more of that content. The other reason I'm doing that is because I love sketch comedy, but I think comedy really struggles on YouTube because it's difficult to hit the algo. People don't necessarily go looking for a laugh. And so if they can show us the way forward, then I think it can blaze a path for other small comedy channels that they could maybe follow whatever model they come up with. So they're doing the brave thing by continuing, and I really hope that it's a success so that hopefully others can follow whatever model they create. I only have the first paid version. Not really sure what Devin Tries Life was talking about just then. TubeBuddy, perhaps? So that's probably the pro version of TubeBuddy. And that's a really good one. Honestly, there's 3 levels of paid TubeBuddy. You got the free one, of course. And then there's Pro, there's Star, and there's Legend. Pro is really good. And if you do it right, you can get it for like less than $4 a month if you've got a small channel. So if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, you can instantly get 50% off. Then if you pay for a year at once, you get another 20% off. That's the cheapest way to go. If you have more than 1,000 subscribers, you want our discount code. Go to our Facebook group, check the announcements. We got a code that saves you 20%. And then if you buy a year at once, you save another 20% on top of that. So that can drive that down to like $5 or whatever. Which, I mean, from a monetized channel, it pays for itself constantly. But anyways, that's Pro. Pro's got a lot of really good tools. Star, I think, is also really good. A lot of people benefit from that level. That's the middle level. That 50% discount's only available on Pro, I believe. And so for Star, yeah, your best bet is to combine the annual discount with our discount. And then there's Legend. And honestly, Legend is a lot. I think for a lot of small YouTubers, and I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, if you follow my affiliate link and you get the paid version, I might get a little something out of that. But I'm telling you right now, Legend is probably too much for most YouTubers. There is so much there. I've had it since August of 2018, September 2018. I'm still learning the different things that are there. So Pro and Star, highly recommend. Legend, if you don't care about money, go right ahead. But I'm not sure that the bang for the buck is great at that super high level. But hey, maybe you're elite and go right ahead. And, maybe you can do more with it than I have just because I've got so many competing priorities for my time. But that's just me, being honest. So video's not sponsored. I'm just telling you what I think. And that's what it is. Okay, so that looks like what people were talking about. Yeah, don't have the custom URL soon, though. So yeah, in case anyone doesn't know, you get the custom URL once you hit 100 subscribers. Now, it's not instantaneous. There is a lag time. So you hit 100 subscribers, and then like maybe a day later you get an email, and then maybe like a couple of days after that you'll probably that's when it'll be activated. But that's when you can go in and create a custom URL. So for example, if you look here, what's a custom URL? At the top of my banner, my channel here that I'm broadcasting on right now is YouTube/Small YouTubers Boost. That is a custom URL. Before you have that, you might have your username or a bunch of crazy characters. Another example, Vacation Impossible. It's youtube.com/Vacation Impossible. Once you get 100 subscribers, you get the custom URL. That's so much easier to share than copying and pasting a crazy string of characters, and it looks more professional, and I think it helps you with SEO. For example, I think I do better on my own channel name and the word vacation because of it. So it's a great thing. And so people say like, oh, after your first 100 subscribers, does it get easier? Yes. Why? It could be a multitude. That's the thing. Like, we can observe things, but we don't necessarily know the causality on YouTube. Nobody really understands the algorithm. It's machine learning. I think the people at YouTube don't fully understand it anymore. It teaches itself. So, Skynet knows what it's up to at this point. But we can observe. And so, yeah, it gets easier after 100 subscribers. Is that because the algorithm suddenly decides you're better? Or is it because you have a custom URL that's easier to share and easier to do certain things with? Like, once you've got a custom URL, then you are able to put it on things. Like, I've got these little square business cards. I don't know how well you can see that. Camera's kind of struggling with that. But it's got my custom URL there. It says, youtube.com/Vacation Impossible. I've got it on t-shirts. I've got it on magnets. So it gets a lot easier in that sense because it's so much easier to share. So custom URL is actually really important. We've got a video about it here on the channel. Let's see here. Canada, iconic. Okay. As a Canadian, I wasn't born in Canada, but I moved here when I was like 3 or 4, so I want to get a tattoo of the maple leaf. I've been thinking about it since high school. I just haven't actually done it, partly because I'm a coward. Don't doubt it, thank you. Smart. Yeah, no kidding. Scandal. Mine is 2 times a week, Sunday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Wow, you have got like a time and everything. Cool, just don't let it become the monster that chases you, is my advice. This is actually very interesting. Cool. I will assume that's about me. Tea, umbrella, compliments. Okay. I don't like tea generally. I like iced tea, but I'm not really a tea drinker. And I live in Vancouver, which is technically rainforest, so I have an umbrella with me at all times. Even if we haven't seen a cloud in weeks. Always got to be prepared. I like to scam bait. That doesn't sound good. Also other things. Just the basics. Yeah, we cover basics. We cover anything I can that helps. I just got a new camera. That's cool. That's exciting. I just need to get with the program. Yeah, that's true of a lot of us. Can't travel. Well, when you are ready to travel, come check out Vacation Impossible. We'll show you how to do it cheaper. You got to get the plug in there. Yeah, I mean, part of it is like, we'll show you the cheapest way to get around town and stuff like that. We cover that. And cruises is a big focus. So like one thing I've discovered is cruises are often cheaper than a traditional vacation. And I realize with coronavirus, travel is a difficult thing to pitch right now, which is part of why I'm spending my time with you fine people. I could be captioning my old videos here on Vacation Impossible, but maybe right now my time's better spent here. But that's one of the things is, Binge Tube. There you go. Came through Binge Tube. Cool. I don't think I shared this to Binge Tube, but that's fine. Just getting people to laugh. That's great. So, yeah, it's like when you factor in the hotel cost and the food and entertainment and then compare that with what you're paying at a daily rate on a cruise ship, doesn't compare. Get a decent cruise from anywhere from like 50 to 130 bucks a day. Like try getting a Hilton for less than $100 a day. Good luck with that. Scam baiting is basically, I call the scammers waste their time so they don't call their victims. I take it back. I was thinking like clickbait, but like with a scam. I'm glad I was wrong about that. My hat is off to you. It's so off. It's in another room. Yes, that is awesome. I'm a participant and supporter of the Mario Marathon, and one of their super fans is a guy named Directional Pad, D-Pad. And one of the things that he made back in the day, and I'm just proud to know the guy for doing this, he made something called the Nyan Cannon. If you're not familiar with Nyan Cat, it's the head of a cat on a Pop-Tart that flies and has a rainbow following it, and it sings this irritating song. You've heard about D-Pad? Wow, that's cool. Yeah, no, like... I got his number on my phone. He lives in Florida. He's a pretty nice guy from what I've seen. Anyways, he created an app where if somebody calls you, and as soon as you realize it's a scam, in like one button, you basically play the Nyan Cat song at them until they hang up. And he called it the Nyan Canon. I think it eventually got unlisted off the App Store at some point because he wasn't keeping up with it. But for a while there, I was like, that's the coolest thing. I'm really good about weeding out scam calls, so I don't get them very often. But yeah, that was cool. Can I see it? Yes, promo. Troopers. Cool. All right. Anyways, let me get back to seeing who else did we have and what were they looking for. A lot of back and forth in chat, which is awesome. Hey, Achilles, is there anything I can do for you? I see you're mentioned in chat. True Enamel, if you're around and not being a jerk, feel free to ask for a request. But I suspect not. Let's see here. And Gretha de Ortiz, is there something I can do for you? Oh, that is you, the person who friended me on Facebook. Cool. Yeah, I get friend requests on Facebook from people I don't know. And so what I generally do, don't know whether this is, to apologize or not, but what I generally do is I'll accept the friend request and then I will instantly ask them, or invite them, I should say, it's a function in Facebook, to like my two pages, my page for Small YouTubers Boost and my page for Vacation Impossible. Might as well just throw that up on the screen here. Small YouTubers Boost. There we go. So I have a page and a group for small YouTubers. Again, it's largely about locking it down. Of course, this is viewing it as the guy who runs it, so maybe not the best way of showing that off. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of that. And so this recently hit 700 likes, which was pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Let me just get back into chat and see what people are talking about. My why is about educating others about positivity and cerebral palsy. I like that. An uncle of mine has cerebral palsy, very, very dear to me due to family issues. I haven't actually spoken to him in several years. It's not me, it's other people. But yeah, no, my uncle was always just the nicest guy. Issues with lighting. Some of your episodes are god-awful. I struggle with lighting a lot. I'm not great. I don't have a lot of advice for lighting. Need to upgrade to FCPX. I don't even know what that is. This is an area that I need to learn more. I'm always trying to learn more, sometimes for my own benefit, and then I can also share it, but also just so I can hopefully be a greater help to you guys. So like one example, I'm signed up for Amazon affiliates. And so this was back in, I don't know, November or something, maybe earlier than that. October, September even. It's a while ago. Anyway, so you have 6 months to make 3 sales. So I signed up for Amazon Canada and Amazon US. Amazon US I made about halfway through with some help, which was awesome in terms of some people gave me some advice and promoted my content. And so I'm there and I'm learning and I'm continuing, but I didn't make a single sale in Canada, so I got kicked out of the program for that. So I can speak to the experience of passing and failing. And it was cool. It was cool because on Tuesday, apparently, I was looking at my analytics. I don't know if I can share them, but on Tuesday I made $17. And given that I've only made like 30 in the whole time I've been on it, I was like, wow, big day. Because apparently I sold an iPhone. So that was interesting. So that's the thing I'm teaching myself about. Be positive through tough times. Absolutely. I am all about that. In fact, I didn't just bring one book to this knife fight. I don't know. This isn't the one that I normally recommend, but I've lent out the one that I really love. There's a guy named Andrew Matthews. I can't say enough good things about this guy. He wrote a book called Being Happy. If you haven't read it, get it. You can get it on Kindle. But he also wrote this, Follow Your Heart, which is, I mean, I guess this kind of speaks to YouTube, I think. Know your why and your heart and then follow it. But anyways, he talks a lot about positivity and sort of how your mental focus determines your reality. One of the things that I used to watch this show, it's no longer in new episodes, but it was called Canada's Worst Driver, and I loved it. And one of the things that they often talked about is something called target fixation. So let's say that you've got an object. Let's put it over here, right? And so you're driving, right? And you want to not hit the object. And a lot of people's tendency is to look right at the thing they don't want to hit. And so they will invariably go straight towards it. I guess my nose is the car. This is not a great demonstration. But if instead you look at let's put it here, the space that you want to go into, if you look where you want to go instead of what you don't want to hit, then that is where you will go. Your nose will lead you where you are looking. And so hitting the thing that you're looking at is called target fixation. That is a metaphor for life if ever I heard one. So look where you want to go. Focus on the potential for the future. Focus on the improvements you want to make. Like when my channel was tiny, and by some definitions it still is, when I had 34 subscribers. And so it was like, I could just focus on how that's not great and sit here and feel miserable. Or I can go and join Facebook groups and ask questions and do research and watch Roberto Blake videos and Small YouTubers Boost videos and whatever, join in a live stream and ask a question, learn a few things, and then I can go and I can make those changes. And you know what? Maybe those changes didn't make all the difference in the world. I retitled my videos. I actually talk about this in the SEO video, where I used to have like artistic sounding titles or what I thought was mysterious, intriguing titles, and they were just trash for SEO, right? And so at some point I realized that, and I went in and I retitled them, and they started doing better. My channel, from some person's point of view, might have still been trash, but you know what? My titles are better than they were yesterday. And that I can feel good about. And that's the kind of thing. Incremental improvement, focus on the positive, and that keeps me motivated. People constantly ask me, how do I stay motivated? What can you say to motivate me? Which is an interesting thing. I don't know that I've ever asked anyone that myself in my life. So I'm not sure what motivates, brings a person to ask that question. And so, but I've been thinking about it a lot because people ask it often. And one of the things is just focus on a small thing you can do. Go do it. And then feel good about having done it. You do that enough times, you do that 100 times, and suddenly you're going to have something pretty damn awesome, I think. So yeah, let's see here. And the other thing about tough times, I talk about like service issues with certain brands, right? And so I've had a bad experience with Carnival Cruises, even though I've been on 23 cruises. Statistically, it had to happen. I really like Hilton hotels, and I stay at Hilton's all the time, but I've had some bad experiences. So when something goes wrong, though, they make it right. And if the immediate person doesn't make it right, as you work your way through the chain, you eventually find someone who will make it right. So that speaks to sort of their culture and their values. And it's easy to be happy in happy times. It's easy to be positive when things are going right for you. And that doesn't prove your character. What proves your character is what you do during difficult times. And so ironically, there's a video on Vacation Impossible you could go watch where we were in a hotel in Tampa and our room was infested with flying ants, right? And so, yes, it would have been a better experience had I never seen the flying ants in my room, if there hadn't been any there. But the fact that when I called the front desk, they moved us, and when there were some service issues around that and I contacted the organization, they made it right. Now I know, and I actually have more loyalty to the brand than I did before because I saw how they handled adversity, and they earned my respect and my confidence and my faith in how they responded. So, that's all part of why it's easy to do well when things are well. It's about staying positive when things are difficult. That's when you really show, and that's when you can form those deeper connections, and that's where you can develop things like true fans, is in those moments, and they see how you handle difficult stuff, like someone misbehaving in chat or something, for example. Do you just start screaming back at them, or do you thank the moderator who took care of it for you? What do you want to do? And yeah, that's one of the things on YouTube. It's kind of like the Truman Show to a small degree. People are always watching. People often ask, how do I respond to a troll comment, an insult in the comments? And I often say that, trolls always need to have the last word. So I actually highly recommend that you go and respond to every nasty comment that you ever get. And be as nice or as funny or polite or sweet about it as you can. And the reason that you want to do something like that is the troll's going to come back, and that means more watch. That means more watch time, another view, and another interaction in the form of that comment. So keep them coming back. Trolls, I grind them up for fuel. Is what I say. I use them for food. But how you respond is still important. If I just called them names in response, my other viewers who might scroll down in the comments will then see me behaving that way. And so maybe they'll think that that's a fine way to behave. That was a problem. You know what? Full disclosure. I'm confession time. Okay. Early in my administration, when I was the admin of Small YouTubers Boost, people would come in and they would slyly break the rules. They'd walk right up to the line and not cross it, or just like toe over the line, toe over the line. And so I would do what I called canary in a coal mine. So somebody would say something like, "Hey, inbox me," and so I might reply with "Why?" Or I might inbox them. And based on what the response is, if they ended up breaking a rule, then I took the appropriate action. But I couldn't assume. Because sometimes something that looked and sounded really bad had a typo in it, or their intent was actually really good. Like somebody all the time, they're like, "Hey, support me and I'll support you." Sounds like it might be sub for sub, which is against rule number 1. That'll get your channel shut down. We don't allow it. We don't want your channels shut down. But it could mean a lot of things. And so like many times I'll push back and I'll say like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And they're like, "Oh, I would love it if you could review my channel and I'd be happy to review yours in exchange." That's fantastic. That's what I'm doing right now. Right? That's not sub for sub. That's the kind of thing I want to encourage. So I try to keep an open mind, but sometimes when I was doing my canary in a coal mine routine, I was a little adversarial. I might be a little snarky, a little sarcastic. I might, poke a little fun or push the line a little. And then other people in the group saw that I was doing that and thought that that was acceptable behavior. And then they cranked it up to frickin' 13. Forget 11. They sailed past 11 and went to 13. And so now there was like this like gang of bullies that I had unintentionally created. And so that's one of those things about staying positive during difficult times is people see you and it has an impact on them and their opinion of you, your credibility, your reputation. So now I try to be a bit more careful about it. I try not to use inflationary or insulting or critical language in that same way, especially before I know what's going on. But I try not to ever, because it's not just that I made myself look bad. What really I feel so much regret about is that I felt like I created some trolls. And that was the last thing I ever wanted to do. It wasn't the effect that it had on me, it was the effect that it had on them. That they thought this was because I didn't fully appreciate the fact that some people would look to me as a leader in the group. It's still bonkers to me. I try to respect that though, try to honor it, because it's a nice thing. I'm not necessarily an expert. I don't put myself out as an expert. I try to help you people because people ask me to do it. But my idea is take them or leave them. I could be as right or as wrong as anybody else. But the fact that I had such an impact on them just because of my behavior that was happening in the public square was an eye-opening thing. So learn from my mistake. And so my advice is reply to every troll, but don't become the troll, because then it makes you look bad and it could poison your whole community. And it's so much harder to pull it back once it's out there. Once that negativity starts to spread, it's so much harder to reintroduce the positivity. I've been trying to do that on Small YouTubers Boost, and anyone watching who can help me with that, I greatly appreciate it, because I want to set a culture where people feel safe and supported. That's what we're all about. I don't want people going around just insulting people. That doesn't help anybody. So, and so here's some examples in case you don't know how to respond to a troll comment, how to stay positive in the face of an insult. I've got death threats in my comment section before, and that's nothing new. So sometimes a lot of the troll comments will be based on an assumption. So I might try to correct them factually. I have a video where I was kicked off some rides on Six Flags. So on Vacation Impossible, you can watch it at your leisure. I didn't edit it heavily because I wanted to show that nobody was perfect. The supervisor at the park escalated the situation unnecessarily, but we probably could have been nicer about it too. I'll own that. But apparently what happened was that video got shared around the park. And so a lot of people who worked with the guy who is escalating things in the video came and attacked us in the comments, which is crazy. That's when Google Plus was still a thing, and you could click and see their Google Plus based on the comment, and these fools had written down their jobs in their profiles. Oh, I'm a ride attendant at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And I'm like, well, no wonder you're calling me names. I recorded somebody when they were not behaving well. Okay. I mean, and so what do I say in the comments? So if it was so like one of the things, it was all about whether or not we were allowed to film in the park. And at the time, we filmed it in like 2017, I think it was. No, maybe even earlier than that, 2014 maybe. It was a while ago. Anyways, their website had no information about whether or not you could film. The ticket said nothing. There were no signs at the front gate. There was information at the ride, but you could barely see it. And apparently it was on the maps, but they didn't have any maps that day. And so people will say, it's on the map, stupid. I'll be like, they were out of maps that day. We couldn't have known. People say, it's on the website. And I'm like, yeah, it is now. And hopefully because of a complaint that I filed, maybe that helped get that information out there. And so that's how I'll respond to some of the trolls. But some of the trolls, they're just you just can't work with them. They'll be like, you should be banned from all parks forever. Or, I hope somebody murders your son. I legit have gotten that comment more than once. And so that last one I reported. But like, if they're just calling me like, hey, fat so or something, and I got that one just not too long ago, here's one you can respond with. Always nice to meet a fan. Thanks for the comment. Because God, do they hate that. Just needles them. And you're being sweetness and love and, champagne and roses and unicorns and rainbows and niceness. And they can't stand it. And so they come in. And so you get them coming back. And so you get those advantages I talked about before. And also it progressively makes them look worse because their insults normally degrade from there until eventually they call you a Nazi or something. But, you look patient or funny. They look like a jerk. It drives interactions and your community sees that whole thing. So they kind of understand a little bit about you. So those are some things to think about when it comes to dealing with trolls. But never make a video calling out trolls. Just don't. That's not a good use of your time. Just in the comments, that's one thing, but don't make a video out of it. Unless your video is about calling out unless your channel is about calling out trolls, then don't do it on your channel because it takes you off brand, off message. You're now playing their game, not your game, and the algorithm no longer knows what you're about, and your views could potentially tank. You might get a small boost from the drama. It will not last, and it will bite you in the long term, is my opinion. Anyways, carrying on here. I'm very happy I'm able to go this long. This is great. Sure, probably shouldn't have said anything, but let's see how long we can ride this pony. Riggan Brown would like a review. Okay, there we go. That was Regan's request. You know what? Honestly, I've been wanting to do this for a while. Regan's been a part of the community for a while, and so I'm glad that I'm able to get to it following my own rules. Here we go. All right. Okay, so that's sort of like an animated profile picture in the style of Disney, I would say, which is pretty nice. The Go Riggan thing is interesting because I can't really see it or read it. I didn't even know there was text looking at your profile picture as it appears in chat. But then here I can see it and read it relatively clearly. And you know what? I think that might actually be a good thing because it's like this bizarre magic where you don't notice that it's there when it's smaller, but you look when it's bigger and it looks good. And so that's great. It's not hurting you anywhere. It's not causing any damage when it's really small, but it looks good when it's big. So that actually, for some reason, some graphic design reason that somebody who's actually an artist could probably explain to you, I think that's kind of good. So I think that's fine. I like the animated avatar. That's good. Follow my adventures as a young woman with cerebral palsy and find out what products make my life easier and can help you too. I can't improve on that. It's all right there. You got SEO terms. You get straight to the point. I got nothing. Maybe there should be a comma somewhere. I don't know. I think that's great. So presumably that's your name. It scores low, but you came up as the top result. So, I mean, when you're using your name, then there's not much you can do about that. And you already have 819 subscribers, which is awesome. You obviously, I assume, have your custom URL by this point. You're locked into that name, and it's fine. You're doing fine with that. So you're beating the other Riggan Browns out there, so good on you. Most used tags are interesting. We've got boxing, kickboxing, martial arts, World Combat Arts Olympiad. So I can't imagine that that's related. But I'm guessing that these two videos that come up are also from your channel. Looks like the same person. Seems like a relative match to the animated avatar. So you're actually, TubeBuddy gives you a low score, but you are rocking that name. Like you're owning that. The most used tags I think is a little sideways, but you got the top 3 results. top 3. Can't do much better than that. I mean, you could own everything, but not with such a, not with a name. I think just a name that is your actual name is tricky. Okay, I'm gonna pause the channel trailer there. Hopefully there wasn't any audio going through. I don't want to accidentally steal anyone's audio. So, let's see what we've got going on here. I normally work top to bottom, just how I do. So the challenge with the banner is that part of the words are being cut off at this resolution. So I'm using Firefox. I'm on a desktop Windows 10 computer, and that's just how it looks. So what I would recommend is make the font smaller or put it side by side so that it can all fit at this resolution. What I recommend you do, and I've recommended this before, so sorry if it's a repeat, but if you Google YouTube banner dimensions, there's a lot of different templates out there that will show you the different ways that your banner will display on a multitude of different devices, whether it's a phone, a desktop, a tablet, a laptop, your TV, game console, whatever. And then make sure the key messaging and imagery is in the smallest box, because that smallest box will appear on all the other boxes. And then just make sure none of the lines cut through anything critical. And then it should work everywhere. The other thing is you got a background image here. I don't know if it's a pattern. Maybe it's... I don't know if it's tire tracks or like a treble pattern or something. I'm not entirely certain. Some of them actually look like game controllers. That could be a lot of different things. And so the background is, it's only partial. And so I would, if you could tile the image, if it's possible, to fill the whole space, I think that would look better. And I think that I don't think it's properly centered either. And so that's just a nitpicky thing, but I think things look a little bit more professional when they're centered, or if it looks like it's really intentional that it's a little off-center or fully off-center. Doesn't feel like that's what the design element going here is. So there's that. You've got your Twitter and your Instagram set up properly, it looks like, so well done there. That's cool. And yeah. You got featured channels, which is great. That shows the community and the algorithm what you're about, both in terms of the subject matter you cover and the fact that you support other channels, so that is always a plus, I think. Go Pilot Season 1, Go Riggan Episode 1, Pilot Episode. This is interesting. So what I would recommend is this is serving as a channel trailer, but it's over 8 minutes long. So I recommend this to everyone and I see you got TubeBuddy there. That's cool. I do recommend to everyone that you have a channel trailer that is a channel trailer. Now, I try to practice what I preach, but here on Small YouTubers Boost, I haven't made one yet. It took me years to make the one that I have for Vacation Impossible. Years in the sense that I didn't feel confident that I had, I don't know, the editing skills or the backlog of material to use to make something, but I did. I eventually put it out, partly after Achilles reminded me, hounded me for it, and good on him for that. You know, it's great to share your goals and your frustrations and your plans with, friends and coworkers and people that you trust, because they help motivate you. You want to talk about motivation, that helps. Just saying a goal out loud, just the act of writing it down does a lot. It makes it like 10 times more likely that you'll do it. Studies have shown. And then when you tell someone, they kind of hold you accountable in a friendly way, in a motivational way, like a coach might, or a teammate. And so those are good things to do. And so Achilles is great at that. Not that I'm trying to sell services or anything. He's just a guy I know. Well, he's more than that. You get the idea. Anyways, so what I would recommend is making a proper channel trailer, ideally between 30 and 90 seconds long. A simple way of doing that is just sit and think for a moment about like the top half dozen, like 5 or 6 coolest things you've ever had on your channel. Maybe it was a joke, it was a great shot, someone you met, and eventually you went on, whatever it is. And then try to splice that into something of that duration. And then either set it to music that you have the rights to, or it has no rights on it, or, and I think this is the better option, and you can do this with or without music actually, have a voiceover where you talk about your, what do you think? What do you think I'm going to say? Talk about your, I'm grabbing a book, talk about your why. That's what I did on Vacation Impossible. I talk about why we're there. I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback and compliments on that channel trailer. Feel free to go and watch. If it inspires you, that's great. Please don't fully steal it, but go ahead and watch it for inspiration. That might help. And so having that as a channel trailer is really good because You've already got something serving as a channel trailer, so you get views and watch time when someone lands on your page. You got a view out of me, and you got 4 seconds of watch time. Sorry, I'm tanking your attention just because I had to pause it on that one particular video. But so you're getting those advantages. But also the retention percentage could be higher. It's a shorter video, but it's an opportunity to introduce yourself to your audience. And so put your best foot forward. It's what people used to call your sizzle reel, an audition tape almost, if you'd like to consider that. Like if you do comedy and you're like, if I had to do an audition tape for Saturday Night Live or, some other, comedy group that you respect that you would like to be a part of, College Humor maybe, if they were hiring. Presumably they will one day again, but and then you only had 90 seconds, right? My friend was working for a company, and they had an internal contest where they could submit a video to win a trip and these other benefits. And so we went around town filming something, and I was editing it down, and the problem was that the time limit for the video is something like 60 seconds, and I couldn't tell our story in 60 seconds. So it was really, really hard. And so actually he was able to ask the organization, and the organization allowed a 30-second window. So we were able to take it to 90 seconds, and that was just long enough to tell the story. I don't know if I have it up on my channel or not, because we were using music we don't have the rights to. I'm not sure if it's there. It might be. But actually, I'm going to take a very quick look here, because I am now very curious. Because he no longer works there, and I think I said that when he would no longer work there, I would put it up. Yeah, here it is. Okay, John's audition. And it's exactly 91 seconds long. I'm going to try and share the link in chat. I'm not sure if it'll let me. It's not even letting me paste. I don't know what that's all about. Whatever. Okay. Anyways. I'll just quickly pop it up here, and then I'll go back to our channel. But that's it there. It's called John's Audition. So for 2014, he was working for Shaw. He entered to win a contest for year-end corporate video. So that's another thing you can look at as a potential. It only just occurred to me, but it is almost a channel trailer in its way. And so that's another direction you can go. It's very funny, a lot of cuts, because I had to get it down to 91 seconds. So that's another possible example of a channel trailer that anyone looking for inspiration could potentially check out. Okay, going back here. So the title of this video is a little problematic because Go Pilot Season 1, Go Riggan, Episode 1, Pilot Episode. And that pilot episode, the second one, is hashtagged. So the challenge there is that in the title, it isn't what I see here of the title. Oh, and actually I see it's down there below as well. Get to know me tag, who's Riggan? Mongo Stander? Don't know if I'm saying that right. So anyways, the title doesn't really necessarily tell me what it's about, and I don't think it's very SEO friendly. It says, the description I'm seeing here, Riggan introduces herself and her disability, plus shows some cool equipment and her independence in the kitchen. So if there was some way that you can use some of those words in the title, then that would get you better SEO. So if somebody's looking about, like, okay, here's the thought. Because it looks like you're structuring this like a television show. So like a season 1, episode 1. Couple thoughts about that. One, I did that with my Vacation Impossible channel, and I think I suffered for it because I would put like season and episode numbers in things like the title, the description, and the playlist. And so I think the problem with that is that people see that as a giant commitment. And so they're less likely to click on it, especially if it's like season 6, episode 14. They're like, well, I'm not going to click on that. I haven't watched all that other stuff, and I'm not watching 5 years of content just so I can understand this. I can understand where they're coming from now, but at the time I didn't get it. And so when I changed my titles, that was something I talked about earlier, actually, when I was talking about my journey on YouTube. That actually helped a lot in terms of getting new eyeballs on my content. So here's a thought. Let's not lose the TV structure, though, because there could be some good stuff there. You can put it somewhere in the description. You can structure a playlist so that people can follow along and make it the official playlist. So you can still tell a narrative story arc that way if that's what you're going for. But here's the thing. Let's think about TV shows. Let's think about, I'm not a fan of it, but Friends. They had titles for each episode, right? The one with, I think, is how they all begin. Star Trek. I'm a giant Star Trek nerd. Quiz me in the chat. Here's a fun, totally off topic challenge. If you're watching the replay and you're not watching this live, in the comments, not the chat because that will be on a replay. In the comments, try to hit me up with a Star Trek trivia question. I dare you. I double dog dare you. The guy who wrote the episode guide for Star Trek: The Next Generation, Larry Nemec, I met him at a convention and I beat him in a trivia contest. And then he was going to have a trivia contest that night at a pub, and he banned me because he knew I'd win. When Paramount was promoting Insurrection, they came to Vancouver, and they had a trivia contest. I won 3 of every prize, then they gave me the microphone, and I hosted the rest of the show. So my challenge to people in the comments, not the chat, the comments, see if you can hit me up with a Star Trek trivia question that I can't answer. I dare you. Anyways, the reason that I'm talking about Star Trek is Star Trek has episode titles, right? So, like, for example, in The Next Generation Season 2, great episodes called Measure of a Man. People know that. The Borg two-parter is the last episode of Season 3, first episode of Season 4. It's called The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and 2. The episode immediately after that is called Family, right? So, episode titles could really work in an SEO standpoint. So you can still maintain that television dimension, but lead with the title, not the season and episode number. I would recommend putting that to the end, if at all. I would encourage you not to put it in the title, but you can, and if you want to, but I would recommend putting it towards the end, after it gets truncated, for example, in certain views and presentations. And so that's what so if you had to give it a name, now admittedly, a lot of first episodes of a show is called pilot. And so I would say try and think of a different name for it. Introduction. What do you say here? You could just call it like Disability and Independence. I don't know. You could something. But if you can title it that way and then make that the beginning of your title, that will help you with SEO, and it'll help you with the psychology of a potential audience that, again, the audience we want to attract is strangers. We want to service the people who are coming back, absolutely. But when we think about titles and thumbnails and descriptions, that's really about that stranger element of stranger danger. No, this is the opposite of that. We want strangers. Strangers is what we want more than anything in terms of bringing in a new audience. And that's what the titles and thumbnails are really about. And the description to a lesser extent as well. And so you make your content for yourself, your audience, whatever. But then how you title and describe and tag it and stuff, that's about attracting the strangers. So that's what I would recommend with regards to that. In terms of putting hashtags in the title, what you want to do instead, and I actually cover this in my forthcoming, not yet out video about SEO and descriptions, put the hashtag in the description. Put it at the end of the description, and it will appear in blue as a clickable link above your title. And that's how you do hashtags. You want to have no more than 3 because it only picks up 3. And one thing I noticed is you do have affiliate number 1. So that number 1, it might pick that up as a hashtag. So watch out for that hash there. You could just put affiliate 1 without the number sign, or put a space between the hash and the number, and that will probably resolve that potential issue. So that's pretty good. And I think that you could, flesh out the description a little bit more. Because even here, you're getting to the social media links and stuff really early. I think you should have more description there for SEO and making people want to click on it, and then have the social links appear after they click read more. It's not that much more of an ask to go read more and then click the social link, particularly when in your banner you have the same links. So unless you're really driving... You know what? I wish I hadn't dropped it. I'm going to... I'm just going to go grab it. Hold on. I need a visual aid. Whenever you can use a prop, use a prop. Where did that thing go? Okay, the lighting here isn't great for this. Let's see if I can... Yeah, whatever. Okay, this is I got to keep it in front of my face so you can see it. Contrast. This is a funnel. Okay, why am I showing you a funnel? The premise of a funnel is that you have a bunch of stuff up here that is all narrowed and focused down to your exit point, your goal, right? So when you have a multitude of online ventures, whether it's business and trying to make money or something else, carrying a message, whatever, think of the funnel. And I told you go and create all those accounts, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So think of that as all your social media is up here on the top of the funnel, right? And you got to pick like one, maybe a couple, but I would suggest really focus on one, two or three at the tops, but really one. And that's what's at the bottom of the funnel. And so where do you want people to end up? Do you want people to end up at your Instagram and your Twitter? Is that where you're making headway? Maybe that's where you're finding your audience. Maybe that's if you're an entrepreneur where you're selling things or you're making affiliate sales or whatever. Then what is the end point that you want to drive them to? And so when you do that, it kind of focuses what you're doing. So like for me, really it's about YouTube. YouTube is the end of my funnel. So my Instagram and my Twitter and my LinkedIn and all of that, I'm trying to drive traffic towards my YouTube channel. That is the premise of the funnel. So when people are looking at your channel, if your YouTube channel is the end of the funnel, the goal that you want to send everybody to, then having super prominent social links that try to drive people up the funnel, trying to get them to climb up that way, might be counterintuitive. And like you can still have them there because somebody will come along and they will identify with. I'm becoming like Carrot Top. They're with these props. They're gonna identify with your why. They're gonna believe in it. I think you've got a great one here. And so they will make the effort to go and find your Twitter and your Instagram and go and support you there. They'll make that extra click. So really, it's about where do you want your audience to spend the majority of their time. So like, let's look at your channel right now. Do you want people to go and click on your next video or Instagram? If you had to choose, get them to go look at my Instagram or get them to watch another video, what do you want? Assuming you want YouTube, because that's the primary focus of a lot of people in Small YouTubers Boost. Not everyone, and that's totally fine. But if that is your goal, you're going to want them to click on another video. And right now, looking at your channel, that's not easy. I've got two opportunities right now to click on your Twitter. It's in the banner, and it's in the description of this video that's serving as a channel trailer. I'm going to have to get another Tums soon. Excuse me. Twitter, again, two links to click on Twitter here, right? In fact, this one I think might be malformed. I'm going to click on it because I don't think it's entered properly. It's picking up the parentheses Twitter as part of the link. So you need to put a space after the 0 and before the open parentheses. That'll fix that link. So that's the thing I recommend you do. And also the TubeBuddy one isn't a link because it doesn't have the HTTPS on it. So you're going to want to add that. So there's two places I can click for Twitter. There's two places I can click for Instagram. There's two places I can click for your primary video here. And if I want to click any other video, I have to notice at the very bottom of the screen this link here. I can't see the thumbnail. I can just see the title, right? So that's part of why if this was a channel trailer and then you had your popular uploads, which I think is a good strategy and layout, don't get me wrong, but then there would be two different videos people could click on. And if you had another paragraph of description, it would push the social media links down below the read more, and I think that would be fine. I think the description would serve you better than having the social media links earlier if your goal is YouTube, because it will give better description that'll more likely entice people to click on it by either explaining it better or giving people additional reasons that they might want to watch. And also, it keeps them on your channel. Remember, that's what YouTube loves. They have watch time, which they love, but there's also session watch time, which is how much watch time they get out of somebody during a session before they close the browser or go to a different website. And so if somebody watches your video and then watches a bunch of other videos, the fact that they stay on the platform, that helps that video. But if your video pushes them off the platform and sends them to Instagram or Twitter instead, the session watch time on that video tanks, and that hurts you in the algorithm. So if you are getting, if the end of your funnel, if your bang for your buck is here and that is Twitter or Instagram, okay, fix the Twitter link and you're golden. But if the bottom of your funnel is YouTube, I think you're going to want to make a couple little tweaks there. I think it'll help. I really do. And just talking about those hashtags, you can put them anywhere in your description. Since they can go anywhere, put them at the very bottom because they will appear above the title anyways. Just 3 though. Moving right along, we've got popular uploads. So let's see here. The thumbnails here, you've got a couple that are shot sort of in portrait. it's more like 4:3 actually. And then you've got the text over it. So for that, as much as possible, I would recommend trying to crop the image in such a way that it makes it like a 16:9 image. If for some reason that's not an option, it doesn't look good or whatever, it's not an easy thing to do, what you could do is move the image that you've got to one particular side. I recommend the left side because the timestamp goes in the bottom right. And then you could put the icon and the text, like Go CP, for example, on the black, and it'll pop more, and it'll look a little bit more deliberate than just like this was a screen grab from something I filmed with my phone. It'll look a little bit more professional. And another thing to consider when you have text like this, the font you're using is good. The colors are a little inconsistent. The Go Pilot one's a little thin. I would use a blockier font there. Again, Beavis New, bolded if possible. And I would add a drop shadow to that. You could also do a stroke, like an outline. That could work as well. You could do both, play with it. One thing that I like to do is I use a drop shadow, but with a distance of 0, so that it's almost like a small subtle glow behind the words, or like a slight a shadow. But I find that effect looks really crisp. It really helps the text pop. And so I see that you do have a theme with the word go. Go Pilot, Go CP, Go Exercise, Go Carpool. I guess, okay, CP is cerebral palsy. I don't know that a lot of people would pick up on that. I'm aware of it with my uncle, but I knew that that's what your channel was about, and I still had to take time to process that and realize that's what that was. So to someone who doesn't know your channel or anything about you, and that's all they see, remember, thumbnails are to attract strangers. The opposite of what we were told to do as children. So you want to make it appeal to someone who doesn't know you, who doesn't understand you, and doesn't get it at all. And so anything you can do to make it more appealing and straightforward and clear to them could get a better CTR, that's click-through rate. That's the frequency with which people click on your thumbnails when they're presented to them. So anything you can do to make that a little bit more transparent. You got the icon there, which does help, but I think a little bit more could be done. And again, either putting it on the black, or in the exercise one, it wouldn't fit in the black, so you'd have to do a drop shadow is what I would recommend. One thing that I'm noticing about the thumbnails here is that the colors feel a little muted. So I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. If that's something you're doing intentionally for like a slight pastel effect, almost like like an Instagram filter, cool, that's fine. A little bit more consistency and it'll be a little bit more clear. If that's not what you're going for and that's just how the images appear, if you're using something like Photoshop, that's the only one I know, so I'm not sure about Canva and how it works in other things, if other things can do it well. There's something called the vibrance option. And when you click on it in Photoshop, there's two fields. There's vibrance and saturation. Let me explain. When you scale down an image from very large to very small, it feels to me at least like you lose some of the richness of the colors. The green looks less green. The blue looks a little fuzzy, like you washed it with a little bit of bleach in the wash or something. And so and I think that's just the compression of the image. So the way that I combat that is in Photoshop, I use the vibrance setting, and I increase it either by 25 on both, which is vibrance and saturation, or sometimes I just do 50 on vibrance, because sometimes saturation makes me look orange, and I don't like that. Not as orange as it makes me look anyways. I mean, all people look a little orange, but anyways, I digress. And so doing that, it might look a little richer than natural, just a little bit, but then when it compresses down, then it averages out and it looks like you probably see it, you know, when you look at it, and the way you want it to look more, and the colors will be richer. So that's just something to play with. And then they'll pop a little bit more, I think. Best and worst characters. Walking Dead. Okay, so I would capitalize the W on worst. And again, and there's a video here on this channel about making your thumbnails tell a whole story. Part of that is because, you know what, let's go take a look at Social Blade again. I started off by showing you guys Social Blade because it was funny. I had already hit 15,000 views, but it was projecting I had another 4 days before I'd hit it. So I was just kind of starting off with a joke. But let's just go look here on Social Blade, and I want to show you something. Oh, Stupid Robot Fighting League is in the house. Oracle Pair, welcome. The Adamson Crew Family Fun, welcome, welcome. Just quickly glancing at chat while I was waiting for Social Blade to realize I'm not a bot. All right, let's go look at Riggan's channel here on Social Blade. Well, that's perfect. That is exactly what I was hoping would happen. Okay, so let's look here. On Social Blade, it shows most... Oh, I wish I hadn't clicked on it. No, that... Let me try this again. This was going so well. Okay, don't mouse over it. All right. So here we have, in the right middle of the screen, you'll see that the most recent video is shown. And so you see the best and the worst characters there, and it's got the little YouTube thing there, right? And so here on Social Blade, that's all people see. They only see the thumbnail. And when your content is embedded on other sites, it will look like that in other places as well, on different websites. Here's an interesting thing. I told you about prepare for success, right? When YouTube announced its new monetization rules, I went balls to the wall. And one of the things that I did to try and meet those requirements, because YouTube pissed me off, which is a whole other story, I didn't like that they were taking something away from me, even though I didn't care about it at the time. I went all out. I did everything I possibly could to have them not take it away from me. And one of those things was I reached out to media, specifically traditional media. And so I was interviewed by the Canadian Press. Very nice reporter, lovely man. And his story was picked up by the website of every small town paper in Canada from coast to coast to coast. I don't know if any print publications picked it up, which was a shame, but it was on all their websites. So, you went to the Ottawa Citizen or the Times Colonial and Victoria or the Vancouver Sun or whatever. That article's on all those sites. And it talked about my channel and the new monetization rules. And what they did was, which was lovely, lovely of them, they embedded one of my videos. So I'm just checking that we still have time. Oh. Okay, that's a partial message. I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, where was I? They embedded one of my videos. It was my Costa Maya excursion, which was kind of a funny one. I go swimming and I end up sitting on the head of a submerged statue. It's weird. It's a good video. Go watch it. There's a funny joke that Sam does early on in the video. Anyways, so they embedded that video, and I didn't know that they had planned to do that. They just picked one at random. It was one of the newer ones at the time, and it was embedded on all these websites all over Canada, and it looked like that. It didn't have a title. It was only my thumbnail. And so the thumbnail was the picture of the submerged statue and the words Costa Maya next to it. In fact, that's still the thumbnail. You can go look today. So it tells a bit of a story. There's a statue that's clearly underwater and it says Costa Maya, right? This says best and worst characters. That could be talking about anything. That could be talking about characters in a play, a movie, a TV series. We know from what we were looking at that it was Walking Dead. But to somebody who just came to this embed, they don't know what it's about. So it's important that as much as possible to have your thumbnail be ready to stand alone, because it might get separated from the title and it might have to fight its own fight. So if that said best and worst characters and then just Walking Dead, or there was you get a semi-transparent PNG, one of the characters or something, or a couple, pop them in there somewhere. It could make the image a little bit more interesting, fill it up a little bit more, but also then the image tells more of a story. And so, I like Shakespeare. I did a lot of acting in high school. I did a lot of Shakespeare plays. In fact, when I did improv for 4 years, we did a type of scene that was an improvised Shakespeare play where we spoke in iambic pentameter, and let me tell you, that messes with your head. But if that said best and worst characters Hamlet, I might click on it. If it says best and worst characters as it does now, I'm probably not going to click on it. Full disclosure. If I didn't know who you were or anything, wouldn't click on it. Don't know what it's about. And if it says best and worst characters Walking Dead, I probably wouldn't click on it because I'm not into The Walking Dead. Best and worst characters 24, I click on that. Star Trek, I'm clicking on that. And so that's fine. You should niche down in that way. Because if you try to appeal to everyone, you will end up appealing to no one. Don't exclude people. You're not saying don't watch my video if you don't love The Walking Dead. People self-select. But you got to give them some information. It's like posting in my Facebook group. You got to tell them a little bit about what they're going to click on before they click on it. If you want to respect the audience, but more so to have any hope that they're going to click on it. People don't click random video. On Wikipedia, there's the random article button, which, I mean, years ago I used to have fun with that and read about random stuff. That was kind of cool. And I think for a short period of time, YouTube had something similar. That is not so much a thing anymore, partly because there's so much on YouTube. Everyone's competing for eyeballs and views and watch time and your attention. So, you know, people aren't just going to click on anything. It's a competitive market. And so that's a way I think you can, with relative ease, I think, be a bit more competitive. And again, I think these things apply to most people. Back to the channel. You might want to consider making popular uploads a horizontal thing, but you would lose some of the information displayed, but you would get more videos clickable earlier on in your page layout. I think that would be my personal preference, but it's ultimately up to you. Well, part of it, though, is when you have a vertical playlist, it shows 4 videos. When you have a horizontal one... Okay, I was hoping there's a horizontal one there. That would really help nail my point home. Anyways, you get like 5 or 6, depending on the resolution and the device that somebody's using. So that's a thing to think about. And so you got uploads here, which is good. Again, probably make that horizontal. And so it seems like there are some themes. So let's check out playlists. Year 1, you do some lives. That's cool. Year 3, year 2, year 4. I bet if you went to look at your analytics for your playlists, I would bet, unfortunately, these playlists are probably not getting you a lot of watch time. And part of it is because the titles don't really tell us what it's about. These are fine playlists, don't get me wrong. I don't think they have descriptions, so I would add descriptions that will help you with SEO, and again, enticing people to click. But I would make more playlists, specifically subject playlists. I talk a lot about Vacation Impossible just because it's my experience. And so I had a funny experience the other day. Somebody came to my channel and commented on a video I had about the Carnival Panorama, which is a cruise ship. And they said something like, I was looking for information on the Carnival Inspiration. I had to dig through tons of your videos and I only found one. That's a real shame. Would love to see more. I sail on the Carnival Inspiration every other year. I've got a dozen videos on that ship. And I've only been on the Panorama once. And so they found the Panorama one easy, partly because it's newer. And they struggled. And thank God they told me. God, you know, comments where people talk about like, oh, hey, I had trouble finding this video or whatever, or hey, I found you from here. That is vital free market research. So love those people up. They're giving you free research. So this person was a massive help for me by sharing that experience with me. My viewers couldn't find my content when they went looking for it on my own channel. What the hell? And so I was like, all right, I can fix this. And when I fix this, I think things will be better. My channel will probably grow better. So that's what I went to do. I went and I was like, okay, first of all, I opened up an incognito window and I did a search and I scrolled to see what came up and what didn't. And so I realized that there were a couple videos that were tagged with the cruise ship name, but they were excursions that we went on that had almost nothing to do with the ship. The fact that we took the ship to Mexico, not that relevant to a video that happens entirely in Mexico. That's not at all about the ship. So I went in and I removed not so relevant tags for those. That cleaned up my signal to noise problem a little bit. But the big thing was I had, for the Carnival Panorama, a playlist named just Carnival Panorama. And you better believe that in the description of that playlist, I had the words Carnival Panorama. Keyword alignment. In the playlist title, playlist description, video title, video description, video tags. And thank God in some of the comments too. Yes! So, I did not, because these are older videos and I wasn't thinking with SEO in mind, I did not have a Carnival Inspiration playlist. But you damn well bet I got one now. And so I'm hoping that someone were to come to that channel, they would have an easier time finding now those videos. And watching them, I'm like, you know what? I need to do more videos about that ship. I've learned a lot about the videos that are popular. There's a particular kind of video that guarantees me a couple thousand views, and I'm going to do for now to the end of time. It was something I experimented with in December. I tried again in February, and it worked both times. I'm doing that again because people like it for whatever reason, and it's happy and easy and fun to film. It was I film it on like early in the cruise. I edit it on my Surface Pro 7, and then I'm able to upload it from my phone while I'm in port. It's easy and fast, and people love it, and gets me views, and then some AdSense money, which isn't bad. So, anyways, the point is, learn from your successes as well, right? And so my successful Carnival Panorama playlist, I now have an inspiration one. And I started working on one for the Breeze and stuff. So you better believe that now I'm going to have a playlist for every ship I've ever been on. And it's quite a few in 23 cruises. I still have some work to do there. I should be doing it now, but I'm spending time with you fine people. It's not like I'm trying to pat myself on the back here. Just, I'm thinking out loud. And that's also, I'm making excuses for why I haven't done it yet, to be completely fair and, full disclosure. So anyways, if you have subjects where you talk about The Walking Dead, or where you talk about, accessibility and independence and overcoming disability, or talking about cerebral palsy or whatever, a playlist for each one of those major subjects is a good idea. For some of the reasons that I outlined about SEO. Also, if somebody just wants to watch those videos. Like, for me, I don't care about The Walking Dead. Zombies, not my thing. But I am curious. I love positivity. And so if you had a positivity playlist, I might just go and binge watch that one day. I might do it tomorrow if you make one. I don't know. I mean, that's not a promise or anything, but it stands a chance of happening. And there's got to be other people out there that are like me, right? A few, maybe. I don't think I'm that weird. Get at me in the comments. So then, once you have some subject matter playlists, you could put a couple of them, 2 or 3, on your home screen. And so you could have popular uploads, cerebral palsy, Walking Dead, positivity, and then uploads, or some order that makes sense to you. I would put positivity above Walking Dead, but that's my taste. And so then when somebody comes to this screen, they'll have like 6. They'll have like a couple dozen videos to click on, rather than just the 8 that are currently here. And also of the 8, one of them, there's a duplication, so it would be 9. So those are some things that you can do. Let's take a look at Channelytics, and we're going to play Ray's favorite game with Channelytics. Actually, we're not. There's not a lot of spikes here. I got ahead of myself. I like looking at spikes and seeing if there's a video upload that corresponds to it. It's often true. So channel tags. Here's some interesting things. Disabled Christian vlogger. Okay, that's interesting. That's good. It's 3 words. I bet that does relatively well. And I know you use TubeBuddy, so you can research these things yourself. You know what you're doing there, and that's fantastic. But looking at your channel, I didn't catch the Christian dimension. I didn't pick up on that. And so I'm wondering, is that something that you talk about? Is your faith part of it? Or is it something that maybe you began talking about, but over time, maybe you speak of less for whatever reason? You're narrowing and honing what you want to focus in on your videos. And so it's one of the things is sometimes people set up their channel tags and then forget about them. And their channel evolves, but their tags don't evolve. And then there's a disconnect there that's problematic for the algorithm. Still waiting to see how long I have. So if make sure that they're accurate and go back and look at them every now and then. Whoever's watching, it could be a useful exercise to do. Disabled dieting. That's an interesting Nutrisystem. Disabled workouts. Someone in my family is struggling with a disability, and dieting and exercise. They're doing well with the dieting thing. With the exercise, they could probably. That's interesting. Coffee addict. See, coffee addict seems out of place. Regan and Becca. Okay. So there's another person, obviously, that appears. Texas family vlogger. Do you talk about the fact that you're in Texas? If you don't, then that might not be a super effective tag. You might be able to replace it with something that's a little bit more focused. For example, Walking Dead, which doesn't appear here. But again, Walking Dead, I mean, if we wanted to really niche down, that's really outside of the other things you focus on. And that is shifting more towards a variety channel, which could be problematic, full disclosure. Let's take a look at the About page. So you've got your email here and you've got your email up there. I recommend removing the email from the description and just leave it down here, because the people who will pull it from here are going to be spammers. The people who will pull it from here are more likely to be businesses. And I think that between your profile picture, your why, your subject matter, admittedly having not watched any videos, I think businesses might be very interested in that. I think that there is some potential there. So, let's make it look as professional as possible so that you could look like a good business partner. For example, I remember that in your description of your your pilot video, you talked about, or maybe no, it's the description here. Yeah, no, it's the description here. You say it right here: the products that make your life easier. There are people out there that probably have products that would fall into that category. And so they might want to send you a free one to review. The microphone I am recording with right now, this Fine, pretty sure I have an affiliate link, an Amazon affiliate link in the description, I got for free. It was a free product they sent to me to review, and I like it, and so now I use it. And so wouldn't that be great if some company wanted to send you something that could make your life easier? And maybe, they might just ask you for a review, and you could do like an honest review of it and get something for free, and then maybe have an affiliate link, and then you get, when you get monetized, possibly you can have an ad, monetize it as well. So you could be pulling on multiple strings there potentially if that's a direction you want to go in. It doesn't seem to be necessarily part of your why, but that doesn't mean that it's not a bad thing. We can have a why that has nothing to do with making money. Where if we do make some money doing it, it can enable us to chase our why better. I think that money isn't a great why. It's more of a what or a how. It's an outcome. It might be a way of measuring how successful you're achieving your why, but it itself is a bad why. People rarely identify with that. Support me because I want to make money. Anybody watching right now, is that making you say, yeah, I really want to support Ray? In which case, I should probably tell you about my Patreon. But I don't think anybody does. Patreon.com/vacationimpossible. But I honestly don't think that anyone in the audience is like, God, I want to give this guy money. And if you do, great. There's a number of ways you could do it. Patreon being just one example. But in all sincerity, talking about monetizing, Western culture is a funny look at money. We don't talk about what we make. We don't talk about our salaries. When people do, it's kind of aghast. There's a debate that often comes up in my group about whether you can share your revenue information from YouTube. What I've been able to determine is you can't share revenue information from your AdSense, but you can share the YouTube estimates. But don't take my word for it. I'm not an expert. I'm not certain. So I want to be careful about that. Because it's a little unclear, we're not enforcing it as a rule in the group. So if you want to share those numbers, do so at your own peril, but we won't prevent you or punish you for doing so. Just to address that periodic concern. But, the fact that, because you've got an affiliate link, then you're definitely a shill. There are people who are going to think that no matter what you do, and those people were never going to click the link, and they were probably not going to watch you for long anyway. So, especially if it's just in the description and you're not going whole hog. I can go 5 minutes without talking about you, buddy, even though I'm in love. And I can talk about its failings. And like, Chanalytics used to not load this, the view count without toggling to something else. No, subscriber count. That's what it was. They fixed it, though, so that's not a criticism. I believe that Legend is too much for most small YouTubers. I think Pro and Star is the way to go. So I'm not just out here trying to make a buck out of them. But if I did, then that's going to allow me to do things like experiment buying maybe, business cards from Instagram. And then coming back and talking to you about that experience. Not Instagram, Vistaprint. I'm a little tired. Buying business cards from Vistaprint. Doing things like that. That's how I got this mug here. I used to do something called Promo Box. That wasn't free. And so, should I monetize or not is a question that comes up rarely, but it does. Most people seem to be chasing it as fast and as hard as they can. A much smaller minority seems to eschew it and want no part of it. I think there's a space between where people like myself can live. I'm not in it for the money, but I realize that that having an affiliate for Amazon, for example, is part of my learning process, so I can share that with you. And also, if it were to take off, if I were to, there was The Facebook group today hit 133,000 members, and somebody joked. One of the mods joked. I think it was Aiden or somebody was like, "Oh, imagine if we all gave each other $5." And then somebody replied, "Then we'd all be exactly where we started," which is funny. We'd probably be less off because it'd probably be fees. However, we transferred that money. But then I chimed in with, "Yeah, but if everybody in this group sent me 6 cents every month, I could do this full time." Right? And I'm joking. That's not my ultimate goal. But that having been said, if it happened somehow that I could self-fund, that I didn't need to work a day job, and that I was able to do this, that would be kind of cool, because then I could give more. For example, I used to have every now and then like a 3-day weekend. Or I would have like a day off here and there where I could, and so I would get up in the morning. I would sleep in a little bit, but not too bad. Get up like no later than 10. I would finish editing and upload a video for Vacation Impossible, and I would go share it on social media. I would go have my lunch. Then I would come back and I would go live here on Small YouTubers Boost. I'd spend 2 or 3 hours helping small YouTubers. And then I would start to prepare dinner and then have my evening with my family. And I remember thinking, I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool day off for me. But imagine if that could be every day. Imagine how many people I could help, whether it's learning about their vacations and saving money or growing their YouTube channel. That'd be pretty awesome. And I don't think that it makes me a bad guy to think that, allow for that possibility to happen one day, maybe. I'm not chasing it, I'm not pushing it, I'm not promoting it necessarily, but if I ended up there, it's not a bad thing. So for small YouTubers, should I monetize, should I not? I mean, consider, yes, how your audience reacts. I eschewed monetization for a while. I have some regrets about that. And when I did monetize, I started off by only monetizing about 25% of my videos. I only run certain kind of ads. I didn't want to annoy my audience, and I wanted to have a certain kind of integrity. For example, to this day, I refuse to have sponsored cards, because those are info cards, but they're sponsored, and so you can get some money from that, but I have no earthly idea what's going to pop up there. And I don't want whatever that is to be confused with something that I've endorsed, because they don't look very different from standard info cards that we create. People know that a banner is not me. They know that a skippable ad is not me. And so those I'm okay with because it's not an endorsement, and I think people get that. But if I were to do the info card thing, yeah, I'd make more money, but I think it'd be unclear whether or not I had endorsed the product or service or politician or whatever it is, and so I don't want to do that. I also don't do unskippable ads, and I almost never do mid-roll. The only time I do mid-roll is on my mukbangs. I've only done a couple mukbangs, and the way that I do it, for the 2 big ones that I did, for John from Stupid Robot Fighting League, who is here in chat probably still, is I do a review of the restaurant, and then we shift gears and then do a mukbang. And so I put a little ad, a mid-roll ad between those 2 segments, partly to distinguish the 2 segments. And so hopefully, and most people I think are used to that, but I'm not going to be the guy with 20 mid-roll ads and sponsored info cards coming up there. It's just not me. And so I think that everyone can find their own level. And so being open to that, I will review products that are sent to me for free. I will not lie about those products. And so the Fine microphone, you need to know how to work that dial, or else you're going to peak on the microphone. It's much better with a pop filter in front of it. If I didn't say those things, I might get more people clicking on my affiliate link for it. And Fine might sell more of them, but I would lose my integrity, and so I'm not willing to do that. I've had a lot of people in Small YouTubers Boost, different companies and individuals approach me and say, hey, endorse my app, or endorse my, whatever. There was one I remember that was horrific. It was an Instagram thing. It was supposed to be like the TubeBuddy of Instagram. God, I wish that was the thing. And it just didn't work. It didn't work at all. And they were willing to pay me. And I'm like, I can't refer people to a broken tool. I don't care what you're paying me. It's not happening. Whatever. Let's pretend it was $20. I think it actually might have been. It was a ridiculously low amount, but that wasn't the point. But that would have been like the last $20 that I would have made. And I certainly wouldn't have made it with a clear conscience to be able to sleep that night. So, for people who are struggling with that question about like, do I need to make business-friendly content? Decide where your level and your calibration is, and let it be, I keep dropping that funnel, let it be driven by your why. And if it's done in service of your why, your audience will come along with you, and it might enable you to do more. And so I think I'm starting to repeat myself. So I think I hopefully have covered that part of it a little bit better. Cuddles from John. That's not awkward at all. DJ Talks, God, I don't want to give this guy money. You're really starting to sound like that guy from high school that you're always reminding me of. Okay, anyways. Super Fighting League. Yeah, he's recently had a lot of success with journalists, ESPN and stuff like that. It's just mind-blowing. Gaminator's here. I did those updates you told me last time. I did add tags to live streams yet, but everything else is on... but everything else is on point. Cool. Was there anything that you wanted me to cover? Because you'd come up a little earlier, but I think you weren't here when your name came up in the chronological chat. Let's see, who else did we have in chat? Any kind of requests? Ian Dominic TV said, I have a Facebook page, Twitter account, and an IG account. Awesome, great start. Just because I've done it recently is top of mind, have you considered a LinkedIn company page? Doesn't take long to set up. And so you can, again, set it and forget it. Just a thought. I'm also on an app called Vero, which I don't know if it's going anywhere or not. It's a paid social media thing. So there's like no ads. And I was able to get in on it during a promotion. So I don't there's no ongoing cost, but I don't think it's driving traffic yet. But like, that's just an example of I had an opportunity to sign up for something. I'm on Snapchat in the sense that I created an account. I don't know what I'm doing. I self-censored there. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But again, I locked down the username. So it doesn't have to be a commitment. Thank you for the compliments. You're welcome. Assuming you were talking about me and not chat people. I'll take it, regardless of who it's directed at. Let's see here. Sword and Dove Gaming Productions. If you're still around, did you ever request? Oh, if there's time, I'd like to see what I need to improve on with my content. That is a little vague. I am not fond of the word content just because it is so broad. Oh, cool. Sounds like Sword and Dove is in our Facebook group. That's awesome. Talking about the troll. Just trying to see if they refined the spelling gag. That's funny. I have dyslexia, so I'm able to see that. Oh, a fan of Troopers. Well, I gotta help this person out. Just stick to the basic free. Yeah, free. I use Free TubeBuddy for small YouTubers Boost, this channel that I'm broadcasting on right now, and I'm also constantly I'm like, oh God, I wish I could just use I want to upgrade the license to like Pro or Star because especially with like tag suggestions and a couple other things like the best practices. I mean, they're not hugely amazing technological things necessarily, but they save me so much time and I feel so supported when I have them. And so having nerfed versions of that where I only get a few, it's like, but the thing is I want to keep the free version for this channel so that I can keep that experience and be able to talk to the free versus the paid. But yeah, free does help. Free is definitely way better than nothing. 100%. 100%. Sometimes I get confused by Pro. Yeah, one of the things I posted about in the group recently was the difference between free and Pro. I actually listed out all of the additional things Pro gives you and the tools that it enhances from the free version. So there's a list there. It's in the units, I think. It's in the TubeBuddy units of the group. And one of the videos a video series I want to work on in the future is actually talking about the differences between free and pro. Because a lot of the videos I put out so far are about tools that exist in free, but I almost always do it from the legend perspective. So you're seeing the enhanced version. So I could be clearer about that. I'm thinking about how I could do that. Let's see here. I haven't done the custom URL yet, says Sword. Fake it until you make it. Kill with kindness or fire. Just remember, people will see it either way. Just like the Jester. Uses unicorn and glitter. There you go. Mostly just wondering what I need to draw more appeal. My traction doesn't seem to be taking root. I have an idea about this, so let's dive in. I popped another Tums, so I'm going to be talking funny. Okay, this is interesting. When your image scales low in the chat, like small I mean, versus how it appears here, it looks very different. Because I couldn't tell you what it necessarily was. I thought it was like a flower or something, which admittedly for something called Sword and Dove was like, what? But then I see it here, and I guess it's sort of a dove. Oh, and I guess those are 3 sword tips. They're like poking it or something. Maybe it's... I'm not sure. It's interesting. The thing is, with the gaming channel, there are so many gaming channels out there that it's hard for me to give advice because I don't want you to be like every other gaming channel. So, yeah, I don't know about that. TubeBuddy gives your name a good score. There's virtually no competition, but search volume is low. It's because longer title specific, but it's fine. We have 193 subscribers, so yeah, go get that custom URL, especially if you're absolutely certain you want to keep this name. Consider exactly what you want it to be. Sword Dove Gaming would be my first thought, but ultimately it's up to you, of course. Whether it's a growing civilization, or the power of a dragon, or taking a chance and rolling the dice, Sword and Dove production. Wow, that sounds a little bit like the kind that I construct during these live streams, because it's sort of following the rule of 3, kind of making it 4, but not really. But it feels like it's not a complete sentence. Whether it's this, or that. What? Whether it's that... What? So whether it's this, that, or the other thing, we do X. Something like that. And maybe that's sort of what the next sentence is going to be. Maybe those just need to be one sentence. It feels like it takes a little while to get to it. I think taking a chance and rolling the dice are 2 phrases that kind of mean the same thing. So maybe not the best use of space, although a little SEO friendly, not going to lie. But the rolling the dice thing makes me wonder if you do tabletop gaming. And so actually, reading this, again, I assumed you were a video gaming channel just because it's freaking YouTube. And 1/3 of all channels are video games. So I was like, I was just smart money, right? It's a smart money bet. But maybe you're a tabletop gaming channel. That'd be kind of cool. But actually, I'm now seeing that all the videos down here are from your channel. And they do, Civilization 5. So it looks like it is video games. Okay. Most used tags: gaming, let's play, funny, roleplay. Wondershare Filmora, that's weird. If that's what you're using, I'm wondering if it's tagging your videos with that, if you're using their upload tool. That helps them and not you. I'm not sure what their rules are around that. I don't use that program. But that would be a good tag for something like Small YouTubers Boost, because it's about helping YouTubers. For a gaming channel, that tag is doing nothing for you if you're using it. So remove it where you can, if it's appearing in your tags at all. Channel trailer. Let me just shut down Channelytics for now. We'll get back to that. That's interesting. Looks like a 4x3, but rotating within it another image that is also 4x3 with a sword. I don't know what to make of this banner. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna leave this one to chat. Chat, what do you guys think about Sword and Dove Gaming Productions banner? It's a unique art style. It kind of conveys some information. I don't know how I feel about it. I am ambivalent. I'm on the fence. I'm curious in chat. What does everybody think of this banner? Maybe you guys can do that part of my job for me. Thank you. I'll link to Blogger, or Blogspot rather. Interesting. Not something you see often on YouTube at all generally, but more specifically in the gaming niche. So I think that's a competitive advantage you might have there. That's the only social link, though. So again, if there's Instagram or Twitter, if you're using it actively. If you're not, don't worry about linking it. Let's see. So you've got popular uploads. Is that a pun, or are you missing the E in awesome? Not sure. Or maybe it's an anime thing. I don't know. A Deadpool adventure like no other. It's kind of a compelling title for a playlist, but I would follow the rules of capitalization unless there's something specific that lowercase is referencing. So capital A, capital D, capital A, capital L, capital N, capital O. It just looks more professional. I think people are more likely to click on things that looks like you put the effort in. Similar with this here. I would make these playlists horizontal So instead of 4 videos, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the thing I was trying to do earlier. This is the difference between horizontal and vertical playlists. Unless you really want... Oh, yeah. I'm seeing it here at the beginning of your description. Edited with Filmora Wondershare. Created with. If you, like, I know that it has an upload tool because it was broken the other day and people were talking about it in the group. And so it probably automatically adds that, not unlike the PS4 automatic upload to YouTube tool. And so that's, like, maybe there's no way to stop that. But I wonder, would it be, hopefully it's not a violation of the terms of service or whatever, the ELA or whatever, EULA. But if you could go in afterwards and edit to remove that. Because, again, not professional, and it's eating up your most valuable description space at the very beginning. Playing as Deadpool in Fallout 4. Cool. Capitalized Fallout. Yeah. And so, again, it would solve that tag problem, because it's probably confusing the algorithm a little bit right now. Are you about video editing, or are you about gaming? The algorithm is, I don't know how smart or dumb it is. Those are judgy words, but whatever. Does it know to disregard that as not relevant? I doubt it. So I think that that's one of the things algorithmically that is hopefully an easy fix. So if you can't prevent it from being added, then after it's uploaded, if you're allowed to and you're able to, go in and then edit it and remove it that way. Thumbnails, the font is hard to read. It's block font, so that's good, but drop shadow. And anywhere where you can say something in fewer words is often a little bit more effective. So it's like, and I mean, I don't know anime or some of these things, but it's like, we are born like this, Dororo AMV. Okay. I don't know if that's a phrase that's popular in that anime or what, but if you could shorten it to just born like this, Dororo AMV, then you could make the font a little bigger, a little easier to read as a result, and again, of course, add a drop shadow. Mega Man, Mugen Adventure, FT or PT3? Again, a drop shadow would make it so that that whole thing isn't messing up the, I'm guessing PT, probably part 3. And again, if it is a part 3, drop the part 3 from the thumbnail so that a casual viewer could still be inclined to click on it without feeling they have to go watch part 1 and 2 first. Because you want to get that click. That's the key. It's the stranger click. That's what you want. The strangest click you can find in all the land. Using the same image 3 times for thumbnails is a little dicey. I would recommend modifying it in some manner. Even though that is a pretty cool picture. Modram. Subscriptions. Interesting. Public subscriptions. I would have a recommended channel box that you curate. I think that's good. I don't know about public subscriptions. Recommended channels is a way of showing the algorithm in your audience other channels that are in your niche, so it clarifies what your niche is, and I could do better at that, I admit. Ooh, I should add Ace of Vegas to my recommended channels on Vacation Impossible. That would be a good idea for a couple of reasons. My to-do list for later. Anyways, having public subscriptions is a little, I don't know. My personal preference is not making my public or my subscriptions public, because that lends to people judging you by your subscriptions, possibly trying to do a sub for sub thing because it's public information. But that's just me and my concerns. I'm not sure how practical it is for other people. Again, this yellow text here on your thumbnails, a drop shadow would do wonders for the readability there. Jump force before jump force. Okay. I like Mega Man, but I'm no expert. X, 9, 10, 11, the last ones I played. I played the demo for 11. I have 11 still in the shrink wrap for the Switch. I got songs with 2 S's. Well, 3 S's technically, but 2 S's at the end. So drop off the S, the additional S if it's not relevant. Having songs is an odd choice, also because these are not from your channel. Wayne, Suzanne, and Peter probably like having their songs there, but I would remove that. It's off-brand, and it's driving people to other channels. So I don't think that's a good use of the space on your layout. But I like what you're like. You know, you've got playlists, and your playlists have descriptions, and so that's good. There. Let's take a look at Channelytics and see if I can play my game. Give it a second to load. Ooh! Oh wow! Okay, some things have been happening here. Would you look at that? So, you've had a real burst of growth here, and then it okay. Well, today that's probably not a good metric. So, like for example, you were getting a lot more views than I was from the 18th to the 28th. So for 10 days there, you're humming along quite well. But really, the growth began on Valentine's Day. What a lovely Valentine's Day gift. Views. I would like that. So, all right. Well, let's play the game. And the game is, can I guess when you uploaded a video? I'm going to guess you uploaded a video on the 13th or the 14th. I'm going to guess that you're probably somewhat consistent, uploading maybe on the 16th and 17th and the 18th, blah, blah, blah. And then not so much after, say, the 27th. But anyways, ultimately, it's 13th and 14th and beyond. Let's see. Well, actually, first, let's check subscriber growth. Oh. Okay, it says the word false here. I don't know what that means. Subscriber growth is kind of up and down. That's interesting. 13 subscribers on the 13th. Not bad. Now I'm really thinking you definitely put a video out on the 13th, I bet. And probably on the 18th. But some stuff here that didn't correspond to the views. That's interesting. I can't explain that one. All right, let's see. When did you put out videos? Holy Mother of God. 12 videos in one day? Am I reading that right? Or did you just have like 11 videos that got copyright claims released? Or did you unprivated? Because 12 videos in a day? Did you eat? Did you sleep that day? Okay, well, I failed at the game this time. I don't think I've ever seen this many videos in a single day before outside of a corporation that didn't care about views. That's interesting. Further, because there's like a lot of days in February where you didn't put out any videos. So honestly, if you took all the videos that you put out in February, which was 17, quite a few videos, and if you did like one every other day all month long, you would have had better luck with the algorithm, I think. So that's one of the things that I recommend is like if you're able to store up capacity like this, on that day where you had 12, release one of them, and then you've got 11 more in the can ready to go. Talking about when you upload. Again, for those of you who don't have TubeBuddy, get it. Even the free version, when you upload, it gives you a bit of a checklist. And it reminds you to do some important things. But putting that aside, not fully putting it aside, one of the things that TubeBuddy reminds you to do is to tweet and to get a like on Facebook for your video. And so it's good to do some social sharing immediately after the launch of a new video. You want to have some time to support your new video. Particularly, I would say, in that crucial first hour or two, or however many you can spare. Generally, hour is probably sufficient. It's generally what I do. So that you can do some really important things in that first hour. I talked about the first 24 hours in a video's life, but the first hour is really important too, because that first hour is somewhat indicative of who has notifications on. Now, you're somewhat subject to time zones. If your audience is in Japan and you're posting in America, that's a little dicey proposition, but the first hour can be pretty important because it does speak to how engaged your most loyal fans with notifications are. And so those views are some of the most critical. And some important things happen in that first hour. So you're going to want to drive those views hard. So you're going to want to share your video in appropriate places. Facebook groups that allow you to do it, that are in your niche. appropriate subreddits. You're going to want to tweet about it. Maybe you're going to want to put an Instagram story up or something. You can put something on Tumblr, Vero, Snapchat, whatever. Share it wherever you're active and makes sense to you, that drives traffic. Maybe a message board that's on the subject, something like that. So you're going to want to do that social sharing, but you're also going to want to be available for about an hour after publication of the video to respond to comments. Because some of the things that TubeBuddy, for example, reminds you is important in the Videolytics tool and the checklist is you want to heart comments, and you want to reply to comments, you want to pin comments. All of these things help you in the algo. And so you want to be around to do that, particularly in that first hour if you do get the comments. So you can get those little pluses, the little boosts, the micro boosts. Ooh, that's a good term. Micro boosts. I like that. Don't think I can copyright it, but whatever. You heard it here first, folks. You get micro boosts by doing that. So you want to be around to do that. To the first comment that's good, you can pin. Reply to every comment, good or bad. Click hard on all the nice ones. Things like that. That gives the video a boost in that first hour. In the first week of the video's life, it gets a new tag. You might have seen that on YouTube. So it is promoting your video more than average or more than an older video because it's still learning about your video. What is your video truly about? Do people really like it? How long are they going to watch it for? Does it drive an emotional response or connection? So all of these things are signals that it really wants that first week. And after that first week, YouTube's kind of made up its mind. You can do some things to change its mind by changing the title, description, and thumbnail, but it's never as powerful as that first week, where it really forms its first impression of your video. So you want to make that a positive impression. Get the watch time, the views, the comments and interactions, the likes. Even the dislikes help because it causes an emotional response, generally speaking, that drives action on the audience, even if it is to click like or dislike. A dislike helps you. Obviously, a like helps you more. Both of them are interactions. Interactions help the video. Video interactions help the channel, and therefore actually help other videos. It's all interrelated. So doing those things, how could you fully share and support 12 videos in one day unless you have staff? I'm not sure how to do. So again, my personal opinion, because obviously we did see a huge spike in growth. But rather than having these peaks and valleys, if you could have sustained growth, that becomes a little bit more predictable. And people can see things like, here, let's go back to Social Blade again. And I'm spending a lot of time on that today, but let's go take a look at Social Blade just so you can see how that might look to somebody. Maybe there's somebody who's thinking about collaborating with you. Maybe a big gaming channel. Let's say Cinemassacre wants to call you up. I don't know. And then they come here, and so they can see what's going on in terms of like subscribers and views. These numbers aren't always perfect. They're updated intermittently, but it is kind of interesting. So for example, they can see that in June of 2019, overall you lost 5 subscribers. But there's an upswing happening here. Your best month ever recorded here was April of 2019, where you gained 10. But that's only because February isn't over yet. Your February numbers are going to spike, and that's going to look solid, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But if you have steady upward growth, or even just steady performance at a certain level, that looks pretty good. If there's peaks and valleys, that often makes people nervous, whether they're a fellow creator or a business that might be interested in partnering with you. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, you're going to have, judging from what I was seeing, you're going to have a great February showing here, and that's awesome. But if you can have it, rather than peaks and valleys, a sustained growth pattern over an extended period of time, that gives better predictability for you as well. For example, if and when you get monetized, you'll see that your daily rates of money isn't going to fluctuate drastically. Mine do a bit, but it's not crazy. When it was early days for me, it was a lot, like 50 cents one day, $3 the next, which was a little crazy making. Now I'm pretty reliably between $4 and $6 a day on average. But that's interesting. So you got a bit of a spike going on here, so that'll reflect down there. These are weekly amounts, down there is monthly. And future projections will probably improve. So you can see an estimate of where you'll be in 5 years. Now, this is just kind of a dumb mathematical extrapolation, but it's kind of fun. Sometimes it's a nice reality check. Sometimes it's motivating. It's like, oh, I bet I could beat the projection by just a little bit. That's a thing I've been kind of a thing I've been doing this year. In the last day of 2019, I went to Social Blade and I jotted down all of the projected milestones. They do subscribers and view milestones for all of 2020. And I recorded those in a notepad file. And so every now and then I pull that up and I see how I'm doing compared to where I was at the beginning of the year. And so far I'm very proud to say that the first 4 milestones I've already beat. And I'm doing well to, I think, beat pretty much every projection for the year right now. And so that's kind of cool. And so that's a way of motivating, setting goals, getting a reality check, and keeping track of things. And so that's not a bad idea. And so stability looks great. That's what potential partners want to see. So I think spreading the uploads out would help there. Oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to look at those channel tags. Pause the video. See, yeah, there's a few things here. Okay, Canada. Cool. You're Canadian? Awesome. I am in Canada. I'm in Vancouver right now, broadcasting live from Vancouver, BC, Canada. So you have some interesting tags. Animation, which you do anime music videos, I guess. Okay. Gaming, music video. Well, you do AMVs, so kind of, I guess. Minecraft, I didn't see much Minecraft, but I wasn't looking that in depth. Canada is weird. If you are Canadian, awesome. If you're in Canada, awesome. If your videos are about Canada, okay. If you don't talk about Canada in your videos, if your videos are not about Canada, I would drop that tag. Replace it with a multi-word tag of some other kind. Civilization. I presume you're talking about the game. So if you're doing like Civilization 5, I think Civilization 5 would be a better channel tag than just the word Civilization, because Civilization is broad. Marvel Comics. If you talk about the comics themselves, great. If you talk about games based on the comics, then put game in that keyword somewhere. Small YouTuber. If, like this channel, you support other YouTubers and your videos are about that, include it. If not, I would remove it. It's not actually what you're about. You see, it's what you are, potentially, if I'm understanding this correctly. You are a small YouTuber. You are in Canada, but that's not what the channel is about. And that's actually a really important distinction that I'm glad I have the opportunity to talk about. Because that's one of the challenges in the Facebook group. We have people who try to post things, and they'll, and here you go, I'm a small YouTuber from Canada. Check out my channel. What's my channel about, if that's my description? My channel could be about antacids. Maybe. My channel could be about all the best coffees in the world. I'm drinking water. My channel could be about how to get away with murder. My channel could be about, I could go on all day, right? And so it's the difference between who you are and what you do is, I think, an important distinction. And as far as the algorithm is concerned, as far as your audience is concerned, they care about what the content is, not necessarily about, your description of you, unless you are the central figure of it. If this was a channel about you and your daily life in Canada and trying to get your small channel off the ground and you do videos about things you're doing to promote your channel, then Canada and small YouTuber tags make great sense. That's not what I'm seeing here. So those, I think, I would drop, replace them with something a little bit more in line with the subjects of your video. The algorithm's confidence in you will increase. You will appear higher in search and in recommended more often, and more growth as a result, I think. No guarantees, but that's my opinion. Looked like you had some pretty good playlists, so that's cool. Just, again, a description for every playlist and proper capitalization and grammar whenever possible. Let's check the About page here. Whether it's a growing civilization or the power of a dragon or taking a chance and rolling the dice. I think that's meant to be a comma, not a period. Sword and Dove production will cover it. Yeah, absolutely. It could be a semicolon or a comma. You don't want that to be a full sentence break. Want to hear some music next to images of your favorite anime? We've got that. Yeah, that works. Looks like there might be 2 spaces after the word anime. Yep. So remove the extra space just to look a little bit more professional. Want to help a small channel grow and improve its content? Then enjoy the channel, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, that sentence I think could probably be tweaked if not removed entirely. Want to help a small channel grow and improve its content. See, again, I don't like content because it's very vague. Content is almost anything. And when you form a relationship with your audience and you get what we call true fans are like the thing to have. There's the 1,000 true fan theory. And so if you can get 1,000 true fans that will watch everything you do and buy everything you sell and enjoy everything you put out and all of that, if you can get it to where you're basically extracting $100 of value out of each of them through the ads they watch, or maybe you sell them DVDs or books or Blu-rays or whatever, Patreon, what have you, if you can do that, then you make enough money that you never have to work another day in your life, right? That's the magic number. That way you get 100,000. That's the six-figure income. When you form that relationship where they become a true fan, I like to think I've got a couple, then it's not for you. It's for them. They're doing it because they want to. Maybe they believe what you believe. Maybe they just enjoy your content so much. Here I am using the word content. They enjoy your videos and your blog so much that the thought of you stopping is upsetting to them. I am a true fan of Pat Contry. I love Pat the NES Punk. He talks about killing the character off one day and not doing those videos anymore. That upsets me. I enjoy those. I watch those with my son. We go to the convention. I like the podcast and stuff too, but Pat the NES Punk is, like, in my mind, better. And it's rare for obvious reasons. It doesn't make him good money. He talks about that on the podcast. And so I was a Patreon of his for some time, and part of it was because I really wanted to support more Pat the NES Punk videos. And so this is something in philosophy called the theory of reinterpreting motivations. But basically what it is, yeah, I'm supporting him because I want something. And that's kind of ultimately what it all boils down to. Like, for example, if you wanted to support Small YouTubers Boost in some capacity, whether it's, I don't know, sharing it somewhere, commenting on a video, clicking like, what have you, because maybe you believe what I believe. Maybe you believe that there are too many barriers to succeeding on YouTube that have nothing to do with your talent, your ideas, or your hustle. And that's not fair, and you want to see them removed. And so that's what I believe. If you believe what I believe and you want to support me in my cause to remove those barriers, you might do things to support Small YouTubers Boost. And that's awesome. But ultimately, you as lovely as I appreciate any kind of help with that sort of thing, because that's what I'm about here, it is ultimately for you, because it's a vision of the future you want to live in. Ultimately. And so how you make it more likely, how you get there, and I'll tell you the truth, we're never going to get there. YouTube's never going to be fully democratized. There's never not going to be technological barriers, but we can make it better. And so it's the infinite journey where we never reach the destination, but we enjoy the journey and things get better along the way. And so for people who believe what I believe, they want to see that too. They want to propel that cause because that's where they want to live. And they get something out of that, a sense of accomplishment, easier time at YouTube, whatever it is. And so that's ultimately what it is. So when you say, want to help a small channel grow and improve, that is entirely about you. It's not about the audience. So instead of something like that, growth is it's not easy to ask for from an audience of something like this. Improvement, however, absolutely, because improvement can be completely about them. If they want to see more blog posts, more AMVs versus long plays or let's plays or whatever else you might be doing, if they can help shape the content to improve it for themselves, then that's something that motivates them, and then they could be on board, and then they'll get in there. I don't know that they care about the growth potential necessarily. They care about what's in it for them. So I think that the improved the content thing, that is, and comment and subscribe, because enjoy the channel, that's not really an action necessarily. Comment and subscribe somewhat is. So you could say like, help improve us to put out more videos that you would love to see by commenting on the latest videos and subscribe with notifications so you can get there early. I don't know, something like that. Then it's about them and not you necessarily. By helping you, they increase the likelihood they get what they want and more of what they want. And so that's how I would restructure that, if that makes any sense. And so you say here, follow me on Twitter. So you are on Twitter. So if you put Twitter down here in the links, that will be another link in the banner. That is a good way, a better way, because this is not clickable. Somebody would have to copy this, highlight it, paste it somewhere else. Also, this is like your name, it looks like, Calvin. And so like it looks a little off brand, whereas the link, they'd never need to see the name. So I think that would look better and professional and more on brand for those reasons. Check out my blog. What could I expect if I were to go to your blog? What would I find there? That answer that you might have just started typing into chat or even just formulating in your brain, put it in the description. Because I think it's interesting. A gamer with a blog is, I don't think, super common. I talk about a third of all of YouTube being gamers, and I kind of roll my eyes when I say it, so I'm like, yeah, there's a lot, and it can be overwhelming. And there are days where I'm just like, oh my god, I'm done with it. Not a lot. I try to stay positive. But part of it is because it's like there's so many cookie cutter things, and there's so many people doing so much the same thing. It's like, well, if I just record myself playing Minecraft, people will want to watch that because I'm fascinating. And that may or may not be true, but there's so many people who have had that exact thought and run with it that it's easy to get lost in the noise. So there's a signal to noise problem there. So you got a blog. What's on the blog? Do you talk about the development process behind games? Do you talk about cheat codes and hacks? Do you talk about the, do you analyze the art style? Do you find indie games that are just as fun as AAA titles and compare the two? I don't know. Do you talk about interesting Easter eggs, where things were inspired from, stuff like that? Stuff that was cut from a game, canceled games. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting subjects you could talk about. And I think a blog is a relatively competitive space, or less competitive space you could compete in. And having the two together could be sort of a powerhouse opportunity for you. Sorry, I might have to wrap up soon. But that's fine. We've been going for a while. This has been a nice long session. I've been enjoying this. We're almost at 3 hours. This is like a live stream of old, man. This is awesome. But I do need to wrap things up. So with that in mind, let me just take a quick look at chat. Hopefully I haven't missed too much here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. This has been a blast for me. Really appreciate everyone who showed up. Daniel Santival, not sure if I'm saying that right. Sorry I didn't have time to get to you, but do subscribe with notifications on so we can hopefully catch you in a future live stream. Turn it into more TV. Thanks for joining. Sage Maverick. Thanks for coming. Hey, you hit 3K. Congratulations on that. I have yet to do that myself, but that's an amazing accomplishment. From what my understanding is, once you hit 5K, the brands really start to come out of the woodwork. So that can be a bit of a turnkey moment. So that's awesome. Keep going. Keep hustling. And see what kind of opportunities come up. But this has been great. Just hit the 3-hour mark, so I do need to wrap things up. I've got some other things I need to do with my evening. But this has been a blast. So if I wasn't able to get to your question, or you want to submit a different question in the future, get a channel review, get help with the video getting unstuck, I can look at the tags and help with the titles, descriptions, thumbnail, whatever you like. What I recommend you do is subscribe with notifications turned on if you haven't already. If you have, thank you very much. And that way you'll get a notification, you'll join in chat nice and early, and then I'll be able to, oh, thank you, John, that's nice. He says, yeah, always tune into these. Ray is super helpful. Thanks, I can use this as Sword and Dove Gaming Productions. That makes the hair go up on the back of my neck, guys. You're so nice. That's great. That makes me feel like I'm getting like teary here. I'm like, this is why I love doing these. It's super fulfilling for me. So I'm really glad that I was able to help. That's awesome. I'm gonna have a smile on my face the rest of the night for that. Ask the question again. Yeah, sorry. But anyways, I look forward to seeing you in the future because I am the creator of like 12 likes. Cool. Likes are awesome. I appreciate likes. Because I'm the creator of Vacation Impossible, I try to end each of these streams with a call to action, a specific thing you can do to help you succeed on YouTube. I want to give you something that at the end of this, you're going to go do it if you haven't already, and hopefully it'll help you get the boost you need. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go into your channel layout and look, if you haven't already, activate the recommended channels module and go in and put some channels that you would recommend. And if you already have that, go take a critical eye at it. Go take a critical eye to look at it. I'm going to do it right now because I just realized on Vacation Impossible, I should add Ace of Vegas. I'm going to go do it right now. So that's your mission if you choose to accept it. Go add the module for related channels if you haven't, or recommended channels if you haven't already. And if you do have it, go look at it and ask yourself if it needs any updating. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group and in future live streams. Got the SEO description video coming out soon on this channel, so thank you so much. This has been fun. I'll see you next time, and have a great rest of your weekend. A great Sunday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.